JP shouting loud on a Friday night. Heather's got the news, what a crazy sight. Connor with the drop kick, what a fight. Canadian basement, yeah, he's always right. We don't give a damn, no bucks given. Talking all the shit, living how we're living. Wrestling stories, fly truths and lines. Turning up the volume, breaking all ties. Gina's got the scoop, straight from the core. Ray Sean with the facts, shaking to the floor. Trek's got the passion, ready to explore. Riding through the chaos, always wanting more. We don't give a damn, no bucks given. Talking all the shit, living how we're living. Wrestling stories, fly truths and lies. Turning up the volume, breaking all ties. Microphone warriors in the dead of night. Voices rough and raw, never out of sight. Standing tall together, always in the fight. Screaming from the rooftops, tearing up the night. We don't give a damn, no bucks given. Talking all the shit, living how we're living. Wrestling stories, fly truths and lies. Turning up the volume, breaking all ties. JP shouting loud on a Friday night. Heather's got the news, what a crazy sight. Connor with the drop kick, what a fight. Canadian basement, yeah, he's always right. We don't give a damn, no bucks given. Talking all the shit, living how we're living. Wrestling stories, fly truths and lines. Turning up the volume, breaking all ties. Gina's got the scoop, straight from the core. Ray Sean with the facts, shaking to the floor. Trek's got the passion, ready to explore. Riding through the chaos, always wanting more. We don't give a damn, no bucks given. Talking all the shit, living how we're living. Wrestling stories, fly truths and lies. Turning up the volume, breaking all ties. Microphone warriors in the dead of night. Voices rough and raw, never out of sight. Standing tall together, always in the fight. Screaming from the rooftops, tearing up the night. We don't give a damn, no bucks given. Talking.
Now we are. You might cut out again in that weird like in the intro. You're like, nah.
Okay.
I'm like, when are we going? Is it which pause? Anyway, Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, slap your grandpa and grab your grandma. It's episode 143 of No Bucks Given right here on the Horny Goat YouTube channel. You guys know what it's all about. It's Sunday evening, random weird-ass topics to talk about, but it's going to be a delight. It's going to be a hoot. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get off the rails. And I just read the title of this episode, Murders, Pregnancies, and Degeneracy. Oh my, it feels like it's a weekly theme. We got the usual crew here with us this fine evening. And fully clothed, JP and Heather and Basement. How you guys doing this evening?
You did that fine.
Actually, it was Mo. He hit the table.
I'm doing good.
We're doing good.
Mo, not so much.
Don't buy the $12 port extender from Amazon because, yeah, it's not even been a year and this thing's fidgety as fuck.
Oh, you're talking about like one of those like
I'm
USB
just
port
gonna do
extensions?
this to you. I'm gonna do this to you because of what you said.
What?
Oh, the fully clothed. I'm always fully clothed. You
That's
jackass.
not true. I've
Bullshit.
seen, yeah.
I've seen you without a hat on.
I've seen your asshole.
I don't think if you see my asshole, but you didn't see my asshole.
Stared right into it.
The way you just said that so matter of factly was just great. You're like, that's not true. I've seen your asshole.
That's true. I'm always clothed, but I was clothed before it happened, right? All right. So
Yeah,
shut up.
then you
Look
weren't
at
clothed when it
that,
happened.
motherfucker. Don't get me started.
What sort of defense is that? I was clothed.
I was clothed before I got naked, so I was never naked.
You said
wasn't a
that
murderer
like you're
before.
never fully clothed.
I know. I was in a murder before I killed 7 women, but you know. And away he goes.
Anyway, his clothes. What's up, everybody in the chat? We got Alpha, Clint, and Joe. Welcome as always. Yeah, we had some weird topics to talk about. I'm not sure what else if we're gonna
Oh,
do
there's
anything
no
else.
segue between them.
Yeah, no, there's no way to segue in this. I did want to bring up something that I actually talked about with Basement really fast before we got on here.
Oh god.
And it was not a part of the docket. The Rock wants a piece of Cody's fucking soul.
Oh, fuck me. Shut up. Fucking shut up. Hey, you see, it took him 25 and a half fucking years to get to the point. It did. If you watch the fucking, it was a half an hour of TV that just, I'm like, doing this. And you don't do that when The Rock is on TV because he usually does a pretty good job of enthralling you with what he's about to say. But after the third time he repeated himself, I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah, he rarely like meanders.
He meandered for a half an hour to get to the point of I want your soul. What the fuck is...
Are they going to do like a corporate Cody angle?
I think so. I think they're doing a fucking... This is the Vince McMahon version of...
Is that going to be like the piece of paper he gave him? Remember how like he handed him something like
Was
10
it a
years
piece
ago?
of paper? Was it a piece of
I
paper?
don't know what else it would be.
I mean,
palmed it. His number?
He
Call me,
goes
baby.
off on this fucking rant, and it killed what happened at WrestleMania 41 when he said, "Here's our mothers hanging out after WrestleMania 41. We became best of friends as the man." All right, here's the problem I have with that. I know kayfabe is dead. I get it, but you want me to keep enthralled in the story? Don't do that.
It's like putting Cody in the crowd at Netflix. Well, The Rock came in front and center. It's like, who's your star here?
Yeah.
But you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they're
I'm not-
back and forth. Nothing is like actually making sense.
No. The whole what happened at WrestleMania 41, and then them showing pictures of this is us after WrestleMania 41. I'm like, you guys.
And it's weird because it's shit they just don't need to show.
No,
If it gets leaked on social media, whatever. But this is WWE literally putting it out there, being like, "Yeah, we're turning around. We're turning this bus around immediately." It's stupid.
I was not happy with it. Did I think that at some point? Now, here I'm going to caveat this. I'm not shitting on the thought of Rock facing Cody Rhodes one-on-one because it adds to the story. What pissed me off about the whole thing is it took him a half hour to get there.
Because we all know Cody here is the greatest champion this company's had in a long time.
I mean, once he got
times.
to where he was going, it actually brought me back in, but it took him for fucking ever to get there. That fucking was terrible. It was a half hour I would love to have back in my life.
You know what? That's a perfect.
It wasn't the thought of the story. It was the thought it took him half hour to get to where he was going.
That's a perfect way to end
Morgan
Capsule.
and Naomi could have had their match. But we all know The Rock needs to spend an hour stroking his ego.
I'm gonna argue that with you. I think that was planned to happen. I think that was I don't think that was, oh, we got to do this. You guys aren't as important. I think that was a planned thing. That's why it was placed where it was. They aren't going to do that to the women right now. The women are actually, they're getting a little more time. And I think that was just planned because it just adds to the lore of the tag team match. Jade Cargill's going to come. It's all coming together. It's going to come out that Bianca Belair did the deed to Jade Cargill. Because Jade Cargill, they even made mention of it. Jade Cargill hasn't returned any text messages yet. So that's where I'm saying. And to Bianca, she hasn't answered my messages. There's your fucking answer. It's that little, but it was a quick pass by statement, but I caught it, and I think that's where they're going.
Maybe she's gonna come back with amnesia.
Oh God!
If only she had Cricket Wireless.
Fucking do it. just don't say that.
I don't know who was messaging me all the time.
But to the point, and I don't know if Connor agrees with me on this because I can see him in the shadows, but I can't really see what he's doing. I seen him doing this.
Yeah.
But I did, again, caveat. I want to see Cody and Roman. Should Cody beat? Hold on. I want to see The Rock versus Cody one-on-one. I think if it adds to the story, yes, they do. Like I said, once he got to where he was going, it was better. But it took him forever to get there.
And I was gonna say this is like the perfect way to encapsulate Triple H's booking. Once he got to where he's going, it's great, but it fucking takes 10,000 years.
Right. Connor, you brought it up, and we did talk about it. You've never really given me your thoughts on it. I mean, you agreed with me, but give me your thoughts, man. I mean,
It's a weird one. It felt like, just in terms of initial reaction, it felt like a work shoot where it's like, did he clear this with anybody beforehand? Like, did he talk to any? So it just felt very weird in terms of its delivery. It has some potential storytelling to it, some storytelling beats where they could be attempting to replicate, or at least mimic, or whatever you want to call it, the Vince McMahon Stone Cold-esque relationship of being you're going to be my champion, I want you to be my champion, and basically turn Rock into corporate asshole heel boss, and Cody being the babyface. Only fucking problem is, Cody's been on top for like fucking 3 years. It feels like very just out of left field. Personally, just on a quick side note here, I could give two shits about seeing Cody versus Rock. I want Rock Roman. Give me Rock Roman, and then Rock rides off into the sunset.
That will happen at some point. Let me say this. I'm not against it happening as long as it advances the story. That was my caveat to it. If they take the title off, if they do this match and Cody loses to Rock, WWE might as well just fucking bring Vince McMahon back and let him fucking book the rest.
To be
Because
very
they're just going right back to what they were fucking doing before Vince left.
Well, if they're gonna have The Rock beat Cody just to face Roman at WrestleMania, to then
No.
Roman gets the fucking title back, and they flip Cody heel, this is like it's a long way to do something like short-sighted. I don't know.
But
it
don't
feels that
think-
way.
I don't think that they are going to do Rock Roman at this WrestleMania.
No, I
it
don't
is
think so
going to
either.
be next year's WrestleMania.
I think that's. I don't think The Rock's got anything left in the tank, man.
I'm just telling you what I'm thinking they may do.
I also feel like, okay, so say this is the other problem I have with this whole angle, because if you are gonna have this like corporate influence from The Rock kind of corrupt Cody, The Rock's not gonna be there hardly ever. Like, what the fuck, is he just gonna get phone calls from the fucking man? Like, because there's no way else to do it.
They've done it before.
It's so it's like you hinge
It's lazy. I know.
you hinge the
It's-
biggest prize in the industry
Garage
on
GM.
that type of fucking storytelling. It's a mistake.
I agree with you. But what they will probably do is we're getting an email from The Rock. Remember that gimmick that they did?
Yeah, the anonymous Raw general manager.
Yeah, the anonymous.
It's gonna be
Rock
terrible.
General. But it's not. We all know it's going to be The Rock.
Hmm.
So another thing to note too is, and this is just my opinion, they're gonna, Rock's gonna. You have until the chamber to tell me give me your answer, which I don't even fucking. That's even weirder. Whatever. I'll be honest with you. Depending on how that segment goes and how they want to like really start billing this whole thing with Rock and Cody, that might change who I think is gonna win the men's chamber. Because if they're gonna go that way with like Cody not being on the Rock side and him being the babyface and Rock being the heel and all that, bullshit, I think Punk's gonna win the chamber. Not
That's
Cena.
exactly what I don't want to see.
Well, the one thing I'll have to say, like, if Punk wins the chamber, man, this man has been fucking oiled up and jerked off this whole year from WWE. It's win after win after win for him.
Yep.
And I guess if you want to get the most use out of the guy before he can't really go, when he can't really go now, I guess this is one way to do it. But I don't want to see Punk in a main event at WrestleMania. I don't want to see Punk in the main event. I don't want to see Punk and Cody or Punk and Rock in one night when you have Gunther and Jey Uso the other.
I honestly think they're doing Punk Rock. Jesus Christ. Punk, Roman, and Seth at WrestleMania. I'm sorry.
I'm okay with the multi-man match, but I don't know. It's not what it should be. It's not what it could be.
With it, Connor?
No.
But this is what they have to do with CM Punk. You got to hide him in everybody else's talent.
Yes.
Why? Explain.
What, the multi-man match?
Yeah, why you don't want to see Rock? Why do you think that's not a good idea?
So just make sure I understand correctly. Can you, when you say the multi-man match between Punk, Roman, and Seth, is that what you said, or no?
Yes, that's going to be at WrestleMania. That is going to be one of the main events.
That sounds like a fucking horrible, like, jambalaya of we don't know what to do with these guys type of match.
Well, they kind of did. Well,
Not really, because Punk still has the favor from Paul Heyman.
It just feels. It just feels off. Like I would much rather Seth and Punk one-on-one.
You know what that feels like? That feels like
Stop. What are we gonna do with Roman then? What are you gonna do with him?
well, you shouldn't be in this situation if you don't know what to do with
Rock
people.
is not
right
going
before
to be
WrestleMania.
at WrestleMania.
So
My opinion-
this triple threat match feels like, especially with the stipulation that Punk is owed a favor from Paul Heyman or whatever, this seems like it should be at Elimination Chamber, building to a match that's one-on-one at WrestleMania. Because then you have that added, Punk is owed a favor from, so Roman like bows out or something because he has to because of the stipulation. Just whatever, right? This is like just spitballing here because he's owed a favor. Something has to happen where either CM Punk gets the win or he concedes the win to Roman, and then it leads to one-on-one at WrestleMania. But this is not going to be the case. Why have that type of? I don't know. It seems stupid to have that match at WrestleMania because the build is not really there for it.
It's
But
hollow.
what do you do with Roman?
Drew.
I think Drew should win the Elimination Chamber.
I agree.
So, and
But
if
he's not going
okay,
to- he's
let's
not-
say okay, so let's say Drew does win the Elimination Chamber. Now, what do you do with Roman? What's the one thing that they built to? That was Seth, Punk, and Roman.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you have for Roman.
I mean,
right
you
now.
could do Punk and Roman without Seth being involved.
No, Seth has to be involved because they haven't had that blow off yet with him and Roman. They have been building that blow off between Seth and Roman for so long.
Well, what if they do
Even though
Roman
they've
and
faced each other a few times?
I-
My point is,
what if
know
they
what?
do Roman and Seth with Punk as special guest referee?
I was about to say was what if they did Punk and Seth with Roman as the ref?
yeah, but then you're
Yeah.
set Punk. And
I can't
can
imagine they put
understand
Roman in
he
a ref
came
suit
back
for
to
Mania.
WWE to have a main event at WrestleMania. He's going to get that, and I think it's going to be in the triple.
I mean, it's kind of intriguing right now, even though like the hopes I had for potential greatness are gone. I am still kind of intrigued in the fact that I don't know what's going to happen, but I have a feeling like my mind lies is the worst iteration of what I could imagine is what they're probably going to go with.
So, Connor, what do you do with Roman?
Do with what?
Roman.
Roman?
Roman.
I told you, Drew.
Okay, and I
And
and I said, okay, Drew wins Elimination Chamber. Now what?
Well, he
So
wouldn't be
you know
able
what's
to.
funny? I did this exact same kind of scenario to you, and you kind of like fucking shut it down completely. You're like, I wouldn't do this situation, or wouldn't be in this situation. So you're throwing. Okay, so you're saying if I was now saying, okay, Drew has to win the chamber.
No, well, let's say Drew does win the Chamber.
Okay,
Roman has nothing.
Seth and Punk with Roman as the ref.
No,
And that's how you can tie in the
You-
favor too.
One thing I'll say, you can't put Roman in a ref suit at WrestleMania.
no.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's the best thing in the world, but it would at least.
You bring back Bork Laser.
Oh God.
that's the one person Punk's never faced.
What?
I don't think Punk would face Brock Lesnar.
Punk's fought Lesnar before.
Has he? I don't know.
Yeah, SummerSlam.
That,
Woo-hoo.
that just goes to show what I thought of fucking Punk.
There's also what are they doing with Logan Paul? It's like a fucking
That's a
non-existent.
good question. I saw someone pitch him and Styles.
It's gonna be John Cena, I think.
Yeah.
Well, they're teasing Braun Breaker and Styles, which should be at WrestleMania. I don't
That
think
would
it's
be
going
great,
to
and I
be.
think AJ Styles will win the Intercontinental title.
That
That
is-
them
that
drawn
would-
into the title picture.
Be opposed to that.
That would
If-
be a match I'd look forward to massively. so.
Styles and Braun, they
Yeah.
they could have a lot of fun with that one.
Well, they're doing it. I think they're doing it.
Well, they
So
set it up already, but I don't know if it's happening when it's happening. It can't happen in Elimination Chamber. It's fucking next
too
week.
soon.
Yeah,
it's too-
Chamber only has 4 matches.
but it probably will only be 4 matches like Rumble.
If they do it, it's going to be one of those where it extends into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because here's a person that hasn't had a WrestleMania moment.
But you want to have like what if the question is what to do with Punk? You can do anything with Punk. You can have him face fucking Logan Paul for all I give a shit. I don't care.
Yep.
I think it's going
Honestly.
to be John Cena.
Or there's also the question of what John Cena is doing at WrestleMania. So I like if you make Logan Paul and John Cena a thing, you kind of force yourself into doing Roman, Seth, in some iteration.
I would not be against Drew, even though Roman and Drew have faced each other already.
They have, and the only reason I say
And he
Wasn't
wants
that
to cut.
wasn't that
he's-
COVID
he's-
times?
Drew alluded. Well, no, it's after COVID.
oh no, Clash of the Castle.
Drew,
Yeah.
Drew alluded to it that he wants to cut the head of the snake off, and I
Yeah,
get
and
it. I
that's
am
kind of
100%. I am for them two having a match. I see that as a SummerSlam match personally.
the reason I would do that is because it kind of helps check a lot of boxes where you still give both men a somewhat high profile match at WrestleMania. You it makes sense because of what Drew said, like you mentioned before, where like that's his goal, is he wants to take out all the OG members of the bloodline.
But
I would give the victory to Drew personally at the WrestleMania match, which would then start to push him back into the title picture again.
So that means we
But-
get Cody and CM Punk.
I don't want to see
It's
fucking
it's so bad. I know that match will be not good.
So, and it's nothing against CM Punk and Cody. It's just
CM Punk needs a like top tier in ring talent to get him over at this point,
CM Punk needs either Seth Rollins or AJ Styles.
or Drew McIntyre, but he already had him, and he already had
Yeah.
Seth Rollins. So AJ Styles ain't fighting him. I don't think. Like imagine second night main event Cody Rhodes CM Punk.
I'm not saying Punk would win. I'm saying is they could use Punk as a catalyst to start to turn Cody heel.
Punk would win because he'd get a favor from fucking Paul Heyman, and The Rock would fucking do something potentially if he ever shows up. You know, and then that's the catalyst to turn Cody heel.
That's a good point.
But it's like this is for me. You don't use your fucking main event of main events at WrestleMania to do that.
Main event of main event.
Because there's two main events.
I think they're going to go triple threat.
It just feels.
It feels
It's
bad.
not. They've been pushing it.
I mean, I don't mind multi-man matches, and if you're gonna have CM Punk in a match,
Roman
then
hasn't been around.
if you're gonna have Punk in a match, a triple threat or fatal four-way or something is the right way to do it, because you got to hide him kind of. He needs time. He's gonna be gassed way too quick. This is why
Especially if he's going to be in the ring with both Roman and Seth.
Yeah, well, this is where you can get the two super athletes to kind of like take up that time, or you do a stipulation match where you can kind of slow it down because they're taking big hits.
And I would give CM Punk his win, and that is the catalyst. Punk does something.
I think Roman doesn't break up the pinfall. That's the Paul Heyman favor.
It's lame.
I know, but you got to do something like that. It's gonna be lame no matter what. I have very little confidence in WrestleMania at this point.
I was about to say, realistically, and with all due respect, like all the pitchers have solid foundation, but even any of our pitchers have like a lame.
That's because they booked themselves in a place that I don't think they can make an 8 out of 10 show out of. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Which fine.
Yeah, but I don't even know if I'm starting to think like it's gonna be hard to be 7 out of 10. And then you start getting like, what kind of WrestleMania is this?
If you're talking like just build, right? I mean, in ring product, it's gonna be pretty fucking solid.
I don't know, man. like they've had
ring, fine, whatever. But it's also going to be the booking decisions at the end.
Yeah.
1,000% heat.
So not everything, and this is where I get what Basement's saying, but this is where I can say, well, you can't always fucking win them all.
No, and I agree with that.
Fucking WrestleMania needs to be this fucking goddamn 10-star fucking show,
and it never is. It hardly ever is. But it was there.
It should be elevated.
It was there, man. It was right there for them, and they just started to make bad. It started with Gunther winning the championship. And then it just one bad decision after the next, And then it also started with them pretty much showcasing some of the matches they're going to do at WrestleMania on like SmackDown and Raw. Why?
Yeah.
I just don't know, but whatever. They got fucking 10,000 wrestlers. You kind of don't need to give that away.
Well, they just released a few, so. Anyway, Switching some
Well, you know
gears
what? We might as
here.
well finish off with wrestling because there's one more thing, and I didn't put it in the fucking
Yep.
Title.
not the title, the little blurb afterwards. I didn't put it there. Okay. That's the independent titles that Triple H has brought out.
Oh yes. See, I'm not against these, honestly.
I don't really like the design much.
And
Oh,
the design is lacking,
design
but,
the design is sterile as all hell. But it's another genius move by the company as far as in the recruitment phases.
It's to build notoriety for guys that they have on the indie scene.
Yep.
That may or may not become WWE guys. Most likely will. That's all I'm saying.
It's essentially it's a marketing tool for independent talent that they want you to keep an eye on.
It also came in tandem with their signing, like I'm gonna say TV deal with fucking Tubi.
uh-huh.
So more eyes on the product and on the indie scene.
Yeah.
You'll probably see the champion of these on that Evolve show.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you might see them every now and then show up on NXT like they're doing with TNA
Right.
or on TNA, for instance.
Yeah.
I don't care for the titles too much, but
I
Yeah,
don't.
the title look
Okay,
good.
so
the concept is, I think, smart.
very
I agree.
very smart.
Here's my thing with titles. Yes, it's not the greatest look, but again, I have come to just not give a shit about what a title looks like. It's the person holding it anymore.
I just don't like the ID part of it.
Oh, I get it. I
It's like,
get it.
it better
I
not be
get it.
somebody that doesn't come from this country.
How
But
weird.
Show me your ID.
I just don't buy into what a title looks like anymore.
Well, it's important because they're marketing tools.
I was about to say
And
I
I understand that. However,
It's the weed title.
For me personally, I think being the title of champion, when that person, everything, it's a prop.
It is.
Right.
But the prop
Yeah.
is important because
Here's-
people will buy it.
The only problem, here's the problem that I have with the continuous world championship thing. Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey do it right. They are
It's a trophy.
defending champions from the previous year. They have to come back and defend their title. They have to get back to where they are to be the champion. I personally do not. That's what.
So
gives
you'd
the title-
prefer like,
seasonality based.
yeah, a completely different take on
Format.
certain things. I would love if instead, like to your point, instead it was a trophy awarded for like the best of the Indies tournament they did once a year.
100%.
Kind of why I have a love-hate relationship with the Heritage Cup in NXT.
I don't have a hate relationship at all with it. I think it's a good idea.
I love the idea of showcasing talent that you might not have seen in like, and especially if they do it like, and they attach like where people come from. You know, you have Canadian wrestler, American wrestler, the Brazilian wrestler, and you do
Yeah.
like a world tournament for the indie scene.
Yeah.
So I like the thought of the trophy idea because, and it can't just be some small fucking.
Yeah, but the problem is marketing it. That's the
Right,
thing,
that's-
right?
that's
That's why
really
they
what
don't
it-
do it.
So, when it comes to the championships, I'm a sucker for how a belt looks. However, I think that like we said before, I really don't like the NXT championships. I just think they're very sterile. Are they bad? No, but they just just bland in my opinion. However, when it comes to the WID championships, I think a big reason why I'm forgiving of the design. I don't think it's anything. It's
It has to be WWE branded though. Like it.
Yeah, I was about to say was this is like we know what the purpose of these are. We know what these are going to be. It's not like we're going to be, at least at this point in the game. It could change in how long this lasts. But like think of how long. It'll be like, oh, the history and lineage of the prestigious WEID championship. Who knows? It may blow up. But what it is ultimately, as we just said before, it is another smart marketing tactic and way for WWE to really just kind of put their
But
fingers
especially
deep in the
now
indie
that
scene.
they're doing that Matt Fact shit a lot,
Yep.
it'll be an added boon when it does. I mean, if it does continue.
So I think this is a good idea.
I think we're all in
I
agreement there. Yeah.
I
I-
don't there. So I'm gonna say this, right? I don't know if you guys have been watching or if you should watch. Well, I don't. This WWE LFG.
Yeah, I've been
Actually, it's
watching it.
really good.
Man,
Actually,
it's a better Tough Enough. It really
way
is.
better tough. It's a way better.
Oh,
beginning
really?
than
So the problem, it looked
essentially
like reality TV slop to me.
Huh?
It looked like reality TV
It's
slop.
it's a little sloppy, but not as bad as the original
Hey,
Tough. Like,
so here's the thing with that. You can call it sloppy.
I call it slop, like as it's another reality TV show. I haven't seen it, but the previews for it reminded me of how NXT started, which was terrible for me.
So
yeah,
they don't do the whole other shit that they did with NXT. They do have coaches, but the coaches aren't in character. They are.
Oh, okay, this is the shit with Bully Ray.
It's
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
to
yeah.
explain.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I have seen a little bit
It's-
of it. The stuff with
it's
Bully Ray.
taken.
My problem is too like it. Once you know how reality TV is made, it really hurts it. Like
No,
the scripted nature of it.
What I'm seeing from it, what I am really, I wasn't looking for. I wasn't watching this show for the reality aspect of it. I watched it to see if I could see anything in any of these people, and the people that they showcased tonight. All four of them have a real opportunity to
Well,
be
okay, so I will agree with that aspect of it. To see to scout for upcoming talent that could be legit, I can get behind that, and some of
That's
that is
all.
interesting. But I don't
so
know the entirety of it if I could.
Well, they had more than four, but the people that they had wrestling tonight got a lot of charisma. The women that the two girls, one was from Australia and one was from.
crushed it.
Oh my God, the face off between those two.
Yeah, it was
And
fucking good shit.
it was giving chills to the four coaches sitting there watching this. They had the motions down. You know how Randy Orton kind of walks around the ring real slow sometimes? They were doing that. They were staring down each other. Everybody.
Yeah.
And
It-
the
it-
collar and elbow tie up, everybody in that room popped.
The problem I have is like as you're saying this, all I'm thinking of is The Voice or America's Got Talent. Like the idea of like reactionary judges to people that are talented. Don't get me wrong, but it's like that's kind of the premise.
Like I said, it's okay. I will premise this out here, where I think like reality TV is pretty. What was it, sloppy, as you say? But I think that I've seen I remember watching the original Tough Enoughs, and if you go back and watch them, holy shit, those are like by the book, like the reality TV stuff.
Yeah,
And this is
Big Brother and fucking
oh my
all
god,
those.
yeah, like it was very like, okay, we're gonna do our own version of what you did over there. But while there are obviously reality TV aspects of this, the big thing with me is that they take this very seriously, and they treat it with the importance and the gravitas that it didn't get in previous iterations.
It's like America's Got Talent before America's Got Talent turned into like a complete farce.
Yes. You
remember like in the like I never really watched America's Got Talent, but I know that in like the first couple seasons they had legitimate people with a lot of criticism,
And then it
and they
turned
had
into a
legitimate
meme.
talent, and then it became we've got some random black guy in a suit that's always like fucking looking at the camera and talking shit. I'm
no,
like, okay, well.
no, you're right. That's basically what it was. And
But
so,
beforehand, I could see what you guys are saying because it is interesting, and even watching I've seen fucking America's Got Talent and like some of the clips on YouTube, things like that, where it's like legitimate talented people, and
magicians.
it is interesting to see that aspect of it. And from what I've seen of LFG, at least with the interactions with some of them, it's like
Oh,
brutally. You either get this or you don't, and this is like you're way into the business. It's not you fucking the holding hands and fucking looking at the camera and smiling.
Yeah, no.
no, but it's so far so good. It's really good. The
Well,
LFG.
yeah, I'm looking at the talent. I'm not
Let's fucking go.
looking at what Bubba Ray fucking Dudley has to say about BJ Ray. I really could give a fuck. I want to see if this kid can actually fucking
Talk about a group of talk about fucking a star-studded legends roster of like the coaches and shit. Jesus Christ, fucking Bully Ray, Booker T, Mickey James, and Taker. Like,
I told
fuck,
Heather
serious?
today the Undertaker is revealing way too much about himself now.
Why not? Fuck it.
I get it.
The curtain's been called.
I get it, but it's
Several
like
times, in fact.
it's like this is just it's like too much.
I'm okay with it. I can separate him
He's-
from his
he's-
character now. It's done.
Yeah, he's earned that right. You know what I mean? Like every. I mean, at this point, kayfabe has pretty much been shattered anyway. And to your point, like at this point, people have now like been very upfront and told their stories, and people can differentiate what they see in the product versus the outside to an extent.
Got it.
And I think Taker. I mean, fuck, Taker has a very successful podcast, being able to tell stories because let's face it, he knew and he was smart enough to know that he was one of the few people that had like an abundance of stories that have never been told from his perspective.
It's where I'm very surprised that they got these guys for this.
I want to say this. I'm not shitting on it.
I know.
I just think it's like too much too quick.
Well, I'm
It's like, it's
surprised.
all at once. He's just like, this is me. I'm an open book now.
Well, you know what it is, right? It's like, right in the childhood.
I'm
That's what it is.
surprised they got
He
Bubba
was-
Ray and
He was
Taker
a
to do it.
child when he was
Why?
The
Because they
Undertaker
don't
was-
need the money.
I was 21 years old when the Undertaker revealed. So I was already under this is all another gimmick.
Fucking Sean didn't need the money. And
No,
he's
but
going
like
fucking
the-
running NXT.
I know, but that's a bit different. This is like we're inviting you to be a coach on a reality TV program, and
Yeah.
you think about it, like Undertaker 100% doesn't need the money. He's got a successful podcast going.
loves
Bubba Ray
business.
100% doesn't need the money. He's got a successful
Yeah.
podcast going. So they're I'm just imagining what kind of hook, what kind of selling, like what they actually said. This is what this program is going to be, and I can only see those guys signing on to do this if, like you guys are saying, it's being treated like as above board as possible. Yeah.
It's treated seriously like it's a real competition that has real prizes.
I
Yeah.
don't think Shawn Michaels and they're trying to find, and they're just putting.
It's
it
just
on
another.
TV.
It's just another way to shed light on upcoming talent.
Yep.
Well, they're showing the backstage of trying to find the next.
This is what they did on the network. The network failed because it was on the network. Essentially, this is now no longer on the network, right? This
on Netflix,
is on Netflix, and Netflix succeeds heavily in reality TV programming.
It's on A&E. It is
Or
not on.
I'm sure it might be on Canadian Netflix.
Okay.
You saved it. You saved it.
So,
Well,
but
to your point, it's just another level of distribution that they're just
Yeah,
crushing.
it's just trying to another avenue for people to get eyes on the product.
I watched that show tonight. I kind of like what I've seen so far.
Yeah,
I might check it out just to see what it's all about. But that's it for wrestling for tonight.
Hey,
Maybe.
random ADHD thing that just popped in my head. Yeah, we were talking about like mentioning like stage hands or like magicians earlier, or it was referenced. I don't know if did I tell you guys I did magic for like a few years.
The Gathering?
You told me. I don't know. I don't remember if you told them.
No, well, I did play. No, I did play Magic the Gathering.
And now
Wait.
watch the laughter disappear.
No. Why did your refunds disappear? Oh no, they're gone. Ah, fuck. That's I watched. No, I actually did. I did magic for a couple years, like actual like performances and stuff. It was mostly just close up magic and card magic, and I remember this trick just popped in my head, where it was fucking the hardest trick I've ever done, and it obviously like any other trick, it's like, oh, it looks so easy, but the long and the long and short of it is that you would say a card out loud, like whatever what the card was, and you'd pull out a deck of white cards, and then as you shuffle the cards together, and then you spread the cards out, like you lay them out, like you fan them out on the table, and in the black lettering it spells out the card that you had said out loud. And it was a very fucking hard trick to do, because you basically had to memorize how the cards went in the deck in certain patterns and certain locations. So you had to like flip them a certain way in order for them to spread the right way. It took me a month and a fucking half to learn the trick.
He spreads out the cards. Why does it say the N word?
It's pointing to you,
Dad.
Oh fuck.
I looked into some magic stuff because magic is interesting, right? It's fun. It's fun, but like, it seems
Sleight of hand
seems so fucking hard to do.
Dude,
Yeah,
some of
it's like
them.
those brain teaser puzzles that you see with the arrowhead through the bottle that you have to get the bolt off.
I've seen that one.
Magic in general is like, you have to be a master.
You've never seen a brain teaser puzzle?
Oh, I know what a brain teaser puzzle is. I do a lot of the math brain teaser puzzles.
No, I'm not talking about those. I'm not the ones you do on paper. I'm talking about the physical, like wood and metal puzzles.
Ooh, actually,
Oh, those are so dumb.
one of my favorite memories of my dad was he took me to me and him went to Universal for like April vacation, Universal Studios. And while we were down there, one of the places that we visited was Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum, which was really fun. You had like all the oddities and bullshit.
Yeah, I've been to it in Niagara Falls.
And I don't know if this is in there, but when you first get in there, like one of the main exhibits that's like in the middle of it is an interactive exhibit, and it's a gate but no fence. And it says it's basically a challenge of open the gate, like it's locked. So you see people try to do all these things and try to finagle with it and whatnot. And my dad just sits there and he just looks at it and he's staring. And I said, and I'm looking at other things that come back to him. He's like, I'm like, what are you looking at? He's like, I'm just looking at the gate. And I said, why? He's like, I'm just watching for a second. And he sees like 5 people try. Finally, he walks over and he just grabs the gate and then he just lifts it up a little bit, like not even 3 inches, and then pushes it open. And you just hear like 20 people go, ah! And I said, I'm like, how? I didn't say fuck, but I was like, how the hell did you know to do that? He's like, I saw the hinges, so I knew it could move, and people were just doing it the wrong way. And I'm mind blown at those those brain teasers and stuff like that. And so that in combination with like sleight of hand stuff really got me into magic.
Sometimes on those brain teasers, it just takes a minute for you to look at something and just be like,
and see other people try.
Yeah, it does help when you
I used to
observe
laugh at people
others
that try to
fail.
open a fucking door that it's supposed to be difficult to open, and then you're just like sitting there like
It's a pull, not push.
Yeah.
Type deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just like I was at an airport and this one lady, like, she could not open the fucking door to the fucking what do you call it?
It's
like the airports have rooms that you can go, like the executive
club
rooms.
rooms.
And
Oh,
club
yeah.
rooms and shit. So she's sitting there jerking on the fucking door, and I'm just sitting there laughing at her. It's like 7:00 in the morning, and for some reason, they were closed from the hours of 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. I'm just sitting there looking at her, and I'm like, the fucking sign says right there, I will be back in an hour.
You know
My,
what's
It's
crazy?
so fucking funny.
What's crazy is like the amount of people that will try to failure before they take a step back and observe what they're
Yes.
doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's wild.
Yeah. I work in basically almost an all glass office, right?
Oh
And
no.
yeah, it's happened. Kids, not so much as adults, and it is. I have to say, it is one of the few gems of my career
He
to
was here
see
long.
to see residents that I have a problem with or who are assholes.
So
Walk into a glass door. Yeah.
Yeah.
at work, we have doors.
Yeah.
They're magnetic,
Mhm.
and when the power
Yep.
goes out, they don't work.
Yep.
The
Same.
magnets don't work, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there. So I'm like right next to the gym or the drill hall. My office is, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like the power's out, so I'm just like the guy's got his flashlight, and he's trying to open the door and latch it to the magnet, and it wouldn't catch. And he's standing out there, and he's going, "Why won't this catch?" And I said it softly because the power's out and magnets don't work. He goes, "Why isn't this working?" I mean, he's getting mad, like it's elevating. He's like, "What the fuck? Why is this not working?" I said, "The power's out. The magnets don't work." "Well, why didn't you say something?" "I did. You're
I,
deaf." You're
I did that to a FedEx guy where like we have magnet sensors, same situation, and he's like waving. I said wave like jump like jumping jacks, and I said no, and I said and I did with one hand. I said rub your belly, and he actually did it. I'm like no, I'm like no, just press the button, you idiot. He's like, oh okay, thank you.
Comes in, just fucking on off loads of fucking M16 in your chest.
I was at a hotel. I was at a hotel, and some lady just walked up. Like, and I don't think she's ever been in a fucking hotel. I don't know how. She must have been from Podunk because she stood at the fucking door waiting for it to open.
Oh no.
I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I walked over and I like, "Man, we got to press the button." She's like, "Oh, I thought it opened automatically."
You know, I've had those automatic doors like close on me while
Oh,
walking through them. Like, holy fucking Christ! Nearly took my shoulder out.
That's a new fear unlocked right there every time.
That's my fear when we have Wendy in the hotel with us, that she fucking goes in there and she's the only one in there, and all of a sudden the doors close on her. It almost happened
Yeah.
to me this last time we were in Des Moines. She went out to the car with me and she ran to the elevator, went in, and I had just come around the corner, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" They was starting to close, and Wendy's like, "Oh no!" She would have just been standing there like, "What do I do?"
Oh no! This is Mr. Bill.
Oh man, Mr. Bill was good shit. That was some fucking funny. He got so destroyed in every single episode.
Pretty much.
Pretty brutally too.
All right.
What else we got on the docket?
Oh God. Well, that's. I was only saying that because it was not in the description.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh God, we're out of topics to talk about. Yeah.
Oh, no.
We
No,
got tons of
no.
topics. I mean,
Yeah.
let's fire off these MCU ones quick. Captain America and the Brave New
Kiss break.
World. Not doing too well in the box office, from what I've seen.
Not surprised.
Not surprised. Critically not accepted very well.
Not surprised.
All I'm gonna say is, if you're gonna take a swing and you're gonna make, I know it's in the comic book, but you're gonna go with Falcon, an underwritten character with no fucking past, and make him the new Captain America and market that massively. Why can't you write a good movie?
It's funny. They
Yeah.
actually even acknowledge this too. Like Sam Wilson, who was introduced to the MCU just running in Washington.
That's exactly what it was. He found him running,
On your left.
and that's his origin story.
So I honestly like Anthony Mackie. I like him as a human being.
I don't know
I
him
just-
as a human being. I don't care for him
We
much as an
have
actor.
this conversation like 3 times a fucking week. I
So
like
it,
him.
it didn't
I
do
like
very
him.
well in the box office. All I said
Yeah,
while you left
anyway.
was, if they're gonna put so much effort into making him this, why did they stop where they needed to continue?
Yeah.
Why did
it's
they,
just-
they just gave up on the fucking character? It feels like.
I respectfully think that at this point, Cap needs to stick to Disney Plus series or background. Like I don't want anything nothing with him in the focal point.
Well, that ruins Captain America then.
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion.
And this is what everyone was saying
Because
when they
isn't
gave him the
Captain
shield.
America like one of the main characters in the MCU?
Correct.
So then, if you don't make another movie with him, then you might as well just fucking put a kibosh to the whole fucking.
Well, they're gonna do what they did with Thor. Every series that they can't seem to fucking write because they hire people that don't know how to, they end up in shitville. No more Thors, no more Captain Americas. What are we gonna be left with?
B-list.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
But this
Well,
is
they won't be able to
just-
write that either. So
If you're gonna do away with those characters, just end it.
the way I look at it is, if you're not going to employ a writing staff that can tell a coherent and interesting story, don't make a movie. Don't make anything. Don't even
That's
try.
That's kind of why, and again, he maybe have just said this for the press release for it, so grain of salt. It's kind of why, like, I was a little bit more optimistic with James Gunn taking over DC, where he's like, I'm not gonna just push something out just to push it out. I want to make sure it's good before it gets out there. Now, obviously, we'll see how things play out with these next couple of
Well,
things.
he already broke that because he pushed out Blue Beetle.
Well, no, that was already done.
No, that was already- that was
I
before.
don't hate Anthony Mackie, and I don't hate the idea of Falcon becoming Captain America, as long as it's done right. And I think everybody's in that. They try to make it this fucking racial shit. If it was done right, nobody would care.
Yeah.
I could tell you that right now.
They were doing it right. It was just Captain America had a friend who happened to be called up.
There's
Falcon.
there's gems in there. There's little things here.
So-
Yeah, there's a sprinkling of great storytelling, but that's it. Like the
And-
whole thing
and
with the
as-
old black
as-
super soldier was great, but unfortunately, it was only a small part.
In fact, I was on Frank's channel, Harsh Truth, shout out. We did it. We talked about this, and me and him basically came to the same agreement. We're like, give us a prequel series showing Isaiah Bradley as Captain America before he got captured and all that stuff, like showing him like doing these like side missions and shit. Like that sounds incredible.
They
I
honestly
would
should have done
love-
that instead of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I would have
Yes.
loved to have seen that. I said make it like a half flashback series where he's like doing something in the modern time, but he's referencing stories that happened previously. I said you have there's so much meat on the bone there that you could have so much, and it wouldn't fuck around with anything major.
No, and it would also give like that character so much more value when they showcased him in Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's just been a series of missteps with them, and like the marketing for this movie showed way too much of the thing I think they wanted to keep secret, because I don't think they they heard bad press, and MCU has been getting a lot of it, but like they heard bad press around the movie not doing so good or whatever. So it's like we gotta showcase the Red Hulk. That'll get butts in seats. Don't care if the movie's fucking trash. You gotta show everything.
Yeah, I did a full review on my channel about this, but yeah, it's basically like, yeah, this was we needed to just get to a certain point. Like, let's just get this over with.
I'm gonna.
Hearing everything, I agree with Ryan from Pitch Meeting. This was a Hulk movie.
Yeah,
This was the Hulk sequel.
I said to Frank, I said, this was Captain America, the Incredible Hulk too. That's exactly what this was. It was more of a rapid stuff,
I don't know, man.
which is semi appreciated, but
Well,
They
when
could have done that on its own and
well,
not involved Captain America.
the problem is they're also referencing fucking Hulk, the fucking Hulk that had the guy that got fucking
Yeah, from Edward Norton days.
the brain enhancement guy that like
Yep.
was teased. That was fucking 30 years. Well, how long ago was that movie? That was like 15 years ago.
18 years,
18.
yeah.
Jesus Christ, man! Like, stop.
yeah.
I'm gonna link this to the other only MCU topic we have, and I mentioned this earlier with you. And so, Moon Knight, no season 2.
However, Moon Knight is still coming back. What?
The biggest problem I have with Moon Knight no season 2 is that entire first season was written and showcased in a way that a season 2 was almost
Needed to
required.
happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. I agree completely.
I mean, Ethan Hawke, who played the main bad guy in the first season, said about Susie, the girl that was in the movie, it's like, I don't quite know how to feel about a person being hired based off of their internet followers.
Oh yeah.
The girl,
Um,
the girl in this series, she was an influencer. She never acted before.
Okay.
And they hired her because of her notoriety
10
on
million
Instagram.
followers.
so it's no secret I am a sucker, biasly, for Moon Knight. I know.
Why
It's
he
got-
looks like a fucking clown.
He's a mummy.
Yeah, thank you.
It's because he likes Egypt and Egyptian history.
And mental health issues.
Anyway,
but the character and the backstory fascinate me, I think, more than anything else. As far as the actual delivery of that in the season, obviously, I kind of quickly, I think maybe the audience did too, kind of quickly pieced together the secret or the reveal. But to Basement's point too, yeah, it definitely was written with the idea of like, all right, we're gonna do this for season 1, and then season 2 will be Jake. And there's still some meat on the bone there too. I'm a sucker for it, but despite its flaw, I trust me, I know there's flaws. Yeah, that does kind of bum me out. No season 2.
Well, don't worry. We'll get a conclusion to his story in fucking 2048
20 years,
when it's
yeah.
referenced in some random Captain America movie.
Yeah.
Like the problem I have, and then now look, okay, She-Hulk 2 dead, not happening.
Oh, thank God.
Moon Knight 2 dead, not happening. What's happening anymore? They were talking about Iron Girl or whatever the fuck she was supposed to be. I don't know where that is. Where the fuck that is?
That's coming out this year.
Well, that's gonna be dead in the water. You know it. I know it. We all know it. The only thing that's gonna make money for them properly and be successful will be Fantastic Four, and that's if the movie doesn't turn out to be fucking god awful.
Right.
What I'm guessing happened is that with Marvel, they obviously had the success of Endgame, right? And then they're like, do it again. And we're like,
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
do you
without
mean?
any of the planning or any of the work that went into it, and make them all women and 7 years old. Yeah, that's gonna be a recipe for success.
A lot of everything felt like let's just cast the widest fucking net we possibly can. Let's try a bunch of random shit, see what happens, and see what works and what doesn't
You
work.
can't do that when the
And
random shit costs $250 million to make.
I'm not
Exactly.
saying it's a good idea.
I know,
I'm just
I
saying that's
know,
the
but-
perception from what I've seen.
Yeah,
'Cause you mean-
it
think
was
about,
like
like,
how to mismanage a company 101.
Yeah.
Now, if they had a gun to their head and was told by Disney, you're making Disney Plus content, then it's half and half. But I still think that was whoever's idea it was. I think that maybe it was Feige's. I don't know. And then once they started to get the pressure of, oh, hey, we've got a bunch of these, these properties are getting a little stale here, or these aren't working too well. We're going towards Secret Wars. Holy shit, that's fucking crazy.
Or
They get
are
a
we?
Yeah.
And then and then that happened and blah blah blah.
There's like this the redheaded stepchild called Kang that we don't talk about.
Who may or may not come back. But that's just my guess. Again, that's just my guess based off of what they've released.
I mean, I don't want to talk about Marvel for too long, but to Jurgen's point, yes, you're right. Daredevil Born Again, I think it is. Not Reborn, or
Yeah.
is it Reborn? Whatever, it does the same fucking shit. That and Fantastic Four will probably be their major hits for this year. And actually, I'm looking
Agreed.
forward to Daredevil more than Fantastic Four, because I'm not really a Fantastic Four fan, but it's probably one I will watch
Right.
because it's something I haven't seen in a while. The last time I saw it was fucking god awful.
Okay.
Oh, was it the Fan 4 stick?
Yeah, that was fucking horrible shit.
Jesus, that was pretty rough.
Now, I don't have the list of all the things we were going to talk about, but we can kind of put away with, well, it's in the description. I can't look at it now. We can put away with Marvel for now. I know that there was a quick story we shared with each other about this man who is a known cannibal murderer.
Mhm.
And he's free, ladies and gentlemen.
We're talking about. I heard about this.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't care how much progress you're showing, but if you fucking had it in you to eat another human,
Yep.
So
you're
how
gonna
many?
do it again.
How
There's
many
no coming
years-
back, man.
He's the new mascot for DoorDash.
How many years was he in prison for?
He was in a psychiatric hospital that he got cleared
so-
from.
Okay, so he was considered crazy.
Well, you axe a guy in the head and you eat his brain and one of his eyes.
Hold on.
Sane is what I call you.
technical famished. Famished.
Not trying to be a stupid here.
I am.
Trying to. So he was clinically insane.
Yep.
Is what you're saying.
That's what they determined him as.
Okay, so
Insane in the brain.
somehow, some way, he had to go through therapy, and he passed. This guy needs to be in prison.
Yes.
Yeah. So if he's sane enough,
anybody that can be not insane now.
yeah, if he's sane enough not to be in a psychiatric hospital, his transition is to prison, not
Yeah.
public. But the hinge is like, it only happened because he was in like a psychotic episode. I'm like, okay, well, what happens in his next psychotic
Stopping him
episode?
from going back to that psychotic.
You know why they call it a season? Because there's more than one episode.
And he was out of pepper jack cheese.
So yeah, he ate a guy's brain and one of his eyes.
So he
Yeah.
ate Jack. Close enough.
No, I mean, I think he should sit and whether he.
You know what should happen? The person that's clearing this man to go back to public, the man should move in right next to him.
No, okay.
There you go. That's the that's what should be. I don't care if the judge lives in a bajillion-dollar fucking house. He needs to live in a fucking rented home right beside him. And then
Got it.
that's the way. That's the way you fix this problem. Because he won't be cleared if you're not living right next to me.
Not against that
I can tell you that.
Well, I don't know much about this, but I do know that this guy, when I read this, I'm like, that's just nuts to let this guy go. There's no way that he is not crazy anymore. This man literally cut somebody open, ate his brains and his eyeball. And
I'd
got
love to see that, like,
clinically insane.
I'd love to
which
see the
means-
turning point in his interaction with like the psychiatrist. It's like,
tell you what his
you know
turning
what?
point is. I can tell you what his turning point was. He figured it out, and he's I'm just got to do this, and this.
so he if he was crazy, he was aware, which means he should have been in jail all along. This is the way I look at
Correct.
it. You don't
guy
all
knew
of a
he was-
sudden be like, well, I don't really feel like brains
Even if
anymore.
he didn't know what he was doing, he needs to still be.
Now, maybe there was some sort of substance abuse that kind of made him insane.
You know what it was? There was a lot on his mind.
But he willingly took those drugs to do this.
Yeah. So then you're in jail. In no way should this guy be back on the streets. Is all I'm saying.
No.
I'm sure there's some sort of. It's not just he's like free and clear. I'm sure he's under some sort of.
Now
fucking
that being
supervision.
said, somebody says, "Well, this guy killed somebody from drunk driving. They go to prison for it. Should he be set free?"
Well, he's working at Arby's.
It
I
was
can
an unintentional
I can
harm.
understand rehabilitation with
Yeah.
drunk driving. Drunk
Yes.
driving is something that I think at some point most people have done in their life, even if they tried to
Oh,
avoid it. Right? It just so happened you didn't kill
There's that
somebody.
one situation that you can't.
Yeah, it just so happened you didn't kill somebody. But it's something that could happen to anybody.
Eating
Eating
how to rationally use their brain, though.
It's something that could happen to anybody that's young and irresponsible.
Yes.
What can't happen to anybody young and irresponsible is eating someone's brain and one eyeball.
After hacking their head open with an axe.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I just had one too many bush lights.
I you get what I'm saying, though.
I know. This is like I should have looked into it a bit more because we're talking about it like more in depth now. I wonder what the conditional release is and what they're doing with him, because if he's out of like one of those fucking like bad psychiatric hospital and being given like more space and a bit more open psychiatric ward, maybe, I don't know. Or if he's back fucking on the streets, that's bad.
He's there with a 24-hour nurse at the very least.
So
at least somebody is there.
Hope he doesn't have sharp objects in the house.
This similar thing happened here where this Asian man on a bus decapitated someone.
Oof, yeah,
and he was just recently released.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the plan is here. Because, like, legally, when it comes to some gruesome fucking act, I don't think it should just be like, yep, we decided 7 years, and regardless of what happens, he's out. He's ready to decapitate again. Just let him go. Heads will fly.
That's the sick part. Our system turning them out like that. I mean, it's really a sign that they should not have closed actual mental institutions that these people, when they start showing signs, can be brought to. I mean, yes, I know the conditions back then when they all started getting closed.
I can tell you right now,
horrendous.
The conditions right now wouldn't be good either. Yeah, I see how hospitals are run here, at least. Oh my fucking god! And you go to a home for people that are like recovering from like major incidents, like these recovery hospitals, and it is god awful.
Yeah. So may have spent a couple nights in these when they were still around. And I pick your job off the floor. No, I'm dead serious.
Now I know why you like MCU.
He's gonna need some ice for that bird.
Fucking great. The conditions were not.
It's like subhuman shit.
It felt like camp. Like everything was wet, everything was sticky, everything was just like not like the conditions were just not that great.
My mom had to go to a place for like 6 months or 8 months, and that place, it was basically prison, but for people that were like all fucked up.
Think of like a summer camp, right? When you were a kid, and like how like the conditions of like like the gymnasium and stuff, and like maybe like the public decorum was not like terrible, not like oh my god you can't, but you can just tell things have been like worn down. That's kind of what it was like, or at least that's how it felt. Thank God I didn't stay too long. Oh yes.
Well, we're on the subject of fucking murder. Might as well move on to the big ol' lesbian fire chief.
What the heck is this?
Yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Do you remember clips on the on Twitter about a female fire captain who was calling out Mayor Bass during the wildfires?
No.
Called out as a DEI hire.
Yeah.
Because she is the size of a firehouse.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, she looks enough like a man.
She was stabbed to death in her home.
The DEI hire was stabbed to death?
Yes.
Yeah.
In her home. Police are suspecting her wife is the lead suspect.
Okay.
I think the story was they were trying to spin it as like a murder for somebody not accepting their way of life. But then it ended up that her wife's like, I can't even fucking live with her. I mean, if you're talking about like women that could save me in a fire, I would say yes to her. Jesus fucking Christ.
It was built like a truck, yeah.
Yeah. She didn't even need the fire truck behind her.
But...
Good
Oh Lord.
So she was
Yep.
a DEI hire that
Well, this
called
is
out-
like this is what they're saying, right? I like
They're
everything got
calling her
classified as that.
Give me.
hire. But meanwhile, she's also sitting there saying Mayor Bass could have done a lot more to
Give me
get things under
uppies.
control.
And this is her wife that killed
Give me
her.
uppies.
Like she stabbed her like fucking 40 times.
Yeah.
By the
I
way.
would. Well, okay, so she might have been a DEI hire, but she seems to be qualified.
So
for
it's
the
not
job.
about it's not about like the story is,
Right.
is like it.
No, no,
They
no.
tried to make it that way.
Certain mainstream media people were trying to sway it that it was a Trump supporter that killed her.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
this now I smell what you're cooking.
But then it was her wife that
If-
stabbed her 40 times. You know
Yeah.
what? And I don't know. So don't ask me. I don't know if these stats are correct. But
these
what I
correct?
have heard is that domestic violence between lesbian couples is like the highest of
is.
all
And-
domestic
and-
violence.
And divorce rate.
It's like, yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
women finally understand how hard it is
It's
to
why I'm
live with
straight.
them.
I can't stand other women.
Or mammals.
It's turning to Chief slap a hoe real quick.
Chief Stabaho is what happened here.
No, it was slap a hoe.
She stabbed her fucking 40
Always-
times.
Man, they're spinning everything.
Yeah, they try.
The-
The media tries to get ahead of it, and then like the next bit of the news is, well, the biggest suspect is her wife, who we can't find and don't know where she is. Those are
Yeah.
the same thing.
I love when news stations try to pivot from a terrible story like that,
It's
that
great.
like murder, into something fucking so lighthearted.
I know. It's
It's
like
the most
7 people
awkward shit.
died
And
in the
it-
Greater
Oh
Toronto
my God,
area.
no, the
It's
funnier thing is they have to transition from a story that they're still laughing at, and it's just like, and in the news tonight, Jimmy Carter has passed away.
where it's like the triple homicide taking place all throughout the corners of the town. Police are on the scene, and we will have more news as it develops. But coming up, our local ice cream store 150th anniversary sprinkles for kids under 5 years old. Come on down and get your free cone. It's like,
I'm pretty sure, like, I fucking. And we've amassed 7 homicides in the Greater Toronto area. Coming up next, squirrel rides water cycle.
yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? And they show a little like the little thing of the squirrel in a
Eric.
skidoo or sea-doo.
Eric, you don't say something
Eric.
and then say that's all I'm gonna say. You didn't even say anything.
Well,
He said there's a reason why lesbian couples don't last for the most part. That's all I'm gonna say. Well, what is that reason?
because even women can't stand women.
No.
Well, sometimes I can't stand her.
No, but
There's
you need
something
like
I say to her,
there's
like,
like
Jesus fucking Christ.
most men and women are there's a difference there that works. Unless you can find a woman that's a lot like a man.
I don't think that that's true.
I think like you can have so you can have. I'm not saying that all women are this way and all men are this way, but you have to find like a partner who is like the yin to your yang.
Yeah.
If you're both the same way, then nothing gets done.
Yes.
And even then, I said I think she's my yang to my yin, but she today.
She's
So the
yanging something.
TV was acting all fucking wonky tonight before we got on the call, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I wanted to find Revenge of the Nerds. I wanted to watch Revenge of the Nerds. I haven't seen Revenge of the Nerds in fucking years.
Revenge of the
Right?
Nerds.
Fucking love that movie.
Revenge of the Nerds.
So I was gonna watch it, and I was trying to find where it was. So I went to Prime because it said it was there, but it's not. So I'm like, God damn it! So then I just went back because I was watching the greatest WWE moments. They had the 80s and 90s Royal Rumbles on tonight, which was actually pretty good. They did the top 10 Royal Rumbles from the 80s and the 90s.
I love your stories where it's like you are really
And-
building the world out for me.
But no, so I was just getting to that, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this TV? So then I did all this, checked all the system updates. Heather comes stomping out there. Well, she didn't come out stomping. She goes, give me the remote. I'm like, okay, you're going to do something that I haven't already fucking done. And she went to do an update. I said, I already did it. And then she went to do another update. I said, I already did it. She just turned around and threw the remote. I'm like, I don't know why you're mad at me. I told you you aren't going to do anything. So the only other idea was unplugging.
She's remembering right now why she was mad.
Well,
And
am I wrong?
I'm mad all over again somehow.
She's not.
Fatal
Am I
error has
wrong, though?
occurred.
I did all the. I did
Okay, so
everything
there's a
that you
certain
did.
way
I
that
never
okay.
even got through 'em, because there still could be an
But
update there that
No,
didn't come in.
because I
after.
had just fucking did
And
it.
as I was saying, came in after you already checked.
Okay, so
fatal error
if,
has
You
if
didn't
occurred.
even let me finish what I was saying. You took the remote and you started doing it. I said, you're not going to do anything that I haven't already done.
don't
And she's
don't
like,
stab each other.
So I'm like, here, take the fucking remote, do your thing. She went to do it. I said, I already did it. She went to do
This
the other
is
thing. I already fucking did
what-
it. The
what
only
I'm-
other thing that I was going to do was disconnect the TV from the plug and just let it totally. I don't know why this is funny. She's not mad. She knows. I tried telling her, but she wouldn't listen.
So what I'm
So,
trying to
just
say is that there is like commonalities between men and women,
Yeah.
and usually like you might have a woman that's like super uptight or a man that's super uptight, and they usually go better with somebody that's a lot more easygoing. You can't have two uptights
No.
because,
Oh,
if
no.
you do, the household's gonna be terrible. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right.
Could
But
be tight.
that's just with any relationship. It's
Yeah,
not
I know,
just
but
man with
there's
woman.
a lot more. It's just people the way people are raised and what like certain genders gravitate to. There's a lot more. If you have to generalize, you can kind of generalize with men and women. Is all I'm saying. Yes, there's exceptions, but
I mean, I didn't mean to call out tonight, but that was one of the issues that we had tonight. But we were fine 5 minutes later. It's not like I'm sure she wanted to fucking kill me in the moment, and I'm sure she wants to kill me in my sleep tonight. But
Yeah, that's more likely.
she doesn't. She doesn't. She just that's just the way she looks all the time. She always looks fucking angry. She looks like she wants to stab.
well, she
people in
doesn't
the
look
face.
angry, but I secretly think she wants to kill you. Okay, enough of this fire captain bitch. We
Yeah,
don't
there's
have.
nothing to add to it. Just
Yeah,
that
she died. Terrible. Whatever. Moving on. Something Heather shared. Surprise! You've got a black baby.
Oh,
Surprise,
yes.
motherfucker.
There was a couple in Illinois, I believe it was. They went through the IVF process thinking she was having one of her eggs and one of his sperm implanted.
Great.
Oh, boy.
However, she then gave birth to a black baby. Come to find out, the IVF center
Mhm.
mixed her egg with somebody else's egg
Wow.
and implanted that egg into her. And
Twist.
she had to give the baby to the biological parent.
Wait, hold on.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, what the fuck? No, because the biological parent is someone that donated their sperm.
No, it was an
Yeah.
egg and sperm duo.
Okay, so
It's still a donation, right?
Not always.
no, not always.
With the IV centers, they also
So what
store so they can be used later.
What she's saying is it was a mix up.
Yeah.
So they put. Wait, what?
Yep.
They
With
put.
IVF centers, they're not just donation places. They are also basically a bank for a woman and a husband, a woman and a man, to keep their sperm and egg frozen until such a time they are ready to have children.
I didn't think you could I didn't think you could do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like put the sperm and the egg inside a woman and be like,
When I got pregnant with Wendy, I got, as some of my paperwork, I got a form that would let me store my eggs if I wanted to have another child later on.
But they wouldn't. So the hospital will take them, but then they store them at that bank.
Right.
Yep.
That's how it is here.
sorry, I'm not well versed in
And that's
banks.
fine.
Damn it, man. Do your research.
Well, if you would listen to what we're telling you,
I'm listening. I understand. I understand what you're saying. I just didn't think they could implant a fertilized egg in a woman and it would just take.
For some, it does, especially when it's their own eggs and their own.
It's not as easy as in a process as you would think, but yes, it is.
I didn't think it was a process at all.
Touche.
That's what IVF is.
I thought the process was. I don't know what I thought the process was.
The process is incubated because the sperm is manually.
So
implanted
if she's
egg.
producing eggs still, why wouldn't they just put the sperm in the egg instead of having to take it? Oh God, no! That was the worst fucking in my mind. Oh.
But anyway, so yeah, so there's that.
Yes.
What if you had a surprise black baby? What would you do?
I would question what's going on.
I'd probably just raise a kid.
Oh.
No, she had to get back to its biological mother.
That's fucking. I would sue the shit out of the place. I held this kid for 9 months.
They are suing the clinic.
So that's if that's what they're doing, then that's.
So you
bullshit.
could technically have, if the two parents were black, you could have a white woman could birth black babies.
Sure, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Surrogate mother.
I never knew this was how it worked.
It's called the Boston.
I always
Queen.
thought a surrogate mother was like a mother using her eggs with a donor sperm.
Did you watch Friends?
Ew, no.
Phoebe was a surrogate mother
For her brother.
Yeah,
Right.
I do remember that.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess a womb is a womb is a womb.
She was actually, I think she was actually pregnant at the time, which is they wrote it in
Yeah.
the story.
As you know.
So what was the original question? Sorry.
What do you? Okay, it doesn't have to be a black baby. Any baby. Say you had a fucking. You were planning this IVF, and you and your wife,
Maybe
and all of a
that
sudden,
was not yours and did not even
Yeah.
DNA test to be
I'd-
yours
yeah.
or your wife.
it's nothing from you or who you're with.
Oh, I'd be flipping all the tables all around me. I'd be
I
bold.
don't think I would be. I would be.
Well, if I was a woman carrying a fucking kid for 9 months, I would be
Thinking it
flipping
was
all the
mine,
tables.
and
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
I'd be flipping all the tables. I'd be suing immediately. Massive.
By the way,
Of
by the way,
I'm more of the person that would not flip tables, but I would sue.
yeah.
I think
think-
like okay. So if it was the case, imagine it was the case where this happened, and the people that did it didn't want anything to do with the baby, right? Like the people that put their eggs and stuff. It's like we weren't ready to have a kid. We just froze them. This is why we froze them. So we're not taking the kid. And it's like, okay, well then I've
I was
just
thinking
given
about that
birth
too.
to a different family's child. What a confusing situation, because you know what's going to happen. Even if you're like, I'm going to raise this kid as my own. 6 years later, 6 years later, we kind of want the kid now. It's like, fuck off.
Not even just that.
Or
the
we
kid
wanna
could
be in the kid's
like
life,
you and
yeah.
your husband be like, why am I so different from the two of you?
Yeah, well, you can teach, you can inform. That's a fucked up situation, man.
Indubitably. What I was gonna say was, there's actually a friend who.
Sorry.
I just thought I get JP's reaction there. You right there, JP?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
waiting for you to fucking say something.
So a friend of mine, the situation happened where was in a relationship with his wife, and she got pergandanate, and the baby came out not the color of them.
Yeah.
And
Was
then
he-
he's like,
So was it in vitro?
No.
was it?
So we're talking about in vitro shit.
Why did you give birth to Hakeem Olajuwon? I don't know. Like
That happens
at
all
that
the
point in
time.
time. Okay, so if I was with a
Somebody
girl
gave
and
birth
she gave
to
birth to a
Really
kid, and the kid was very much like kids are born and they're weird, kind of, but like you can usually tell. Like it's like,
Yeah.
man, this looks like somebody that's not me. I think I would be like, I'm happy for
Yeah.
you. I'm happy for you.
Like Shameless.
I'm
Is that
out.
An Asian Down syndrome baby.
I would just walk out, I think, at that point. Fuck you. You made your decision. I would be like, I'm happy for you. Here's a beautiful boy, girl, whatever. I don't give a shit. Throw the baby at her. Walk out.
I don't know if I'd throw the baby at.
Kobe!
If it's still on the cord, so you know.
Yeah.
Could
Anywho.
you imagine Basement sees that his wife had a all black baby? He turns around and goes, "Blue 32, blue 32, what, right?"
Spiral that baby right into her arms. And then I'd strut out of that hospital being like, thank God.
Oh, fucking weird.
Yep. That seems appropriate.
No, I think I would just be like, come on, man. I'd be like, does this baby not look like fucking Samuel L. Jackson?
Come on.
Come on. Maybe you should call the real father.
If it was in vitro or vitro. Or
Well, that's a
whatever
different story. But if it wasn't,
Yeah.
then the
Then-
answer is there,
no.
right?
Then I would understand if the baby came out black.
No. I wouldn't be like hateful or anything. I just fucking hand the
No, no,
baby
no,
to
no,
her and be
no,
like,
But
au
I
revoir, bitch.
Imagine with everything, with all the chaos with everything, and it's like a couple of hours and everything, and you clearly tell that the child's black, and you do all this back and forth, and you finally like everything's calmed down, baby's good, everything's fine. It's like 18 hours later, none of you have slept, you're just kind of like both exhausted. You're like, hey.
well, it's just like in me, myself, me, myself, and Irene.
Yeah.
That's Jim Carrey.
That is Jim Carrey.
Oh my god. So when the 3 kids were born, he just took it with a grain of salt, and then he snapped later
Right.
on. So that, yeah, I get it.
No, I think for me, I'm out immediately. As soon as I know for sure, I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here.
Hey, so kids looking good. I got some questions.
So you're thinking Jerome?
Who else do I gotta call?
Ghostbusters.
But I mean, if somebody holds that kind of secret on you for 9 months and just fingers crossed,
Yeah.
that person is probably a pile of shit. Let's just be real.
No, I get it. No, I am with you 100%.
Speaking of piles of shit,
Yeah.
OnlyFans, the girl that
Oh,
slept with
yes.
everybody under the sun.
Bonnie Blue.
Both of them apparently are pregnant or not. I don't know.
She's not pregnant.
What?
One of them is,
What?
Okay, well, good for her.
but they don't know who. Like, I mean, what happens there? It's another fucking weird pregnancy story. It's like, well, who's the father? Well, it's one of 100 men.
The 100.
That
a
was
reality
the
show.
one girl slept with 100, one girl slept with 1,000.
Yeah.
It's a new reality show.
Who's the daddy?
One, I don't know. I think the one that slept with 1,000 men, she's not pregnant.
But the 100 one is.
Okay.
It's just like, what is this world, man? I fucking hate this world.
So she got pregnant.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I
what
don't
you sleep with
understand.
100 men. That's pretty much what's going to happen all at once, though.
I mean, possibly, yes.
Birth control.
Well, you know what? She would have. Yeah, well.
No, I don't think that. I don't think she was on birth control. I think that was the issue.
What a wild decision.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna sleep
100%
with.
you.
I'm gonna sleep with a full baseball team,
A full
not
baseball
on
team?
not on birth control.
That's so. Do you want to? That's not a full baseball team. That is a full fucking farm system in the major leagues.
Yeah, I know, it is. But yeah, well, like when you guys share this, I'm like, that kid's life is gonna be terrible. Not only is the mother terrible, you can already. I don't care. She's a trash human being. Whatever. This is my opinion. That I'm sticking with it. Garbage person.
I mean, I don't judge. I mean, she might be a nice person, but I'm not.
I
I'm not
am
going.
okay. I'm okay with not being completely okay with someone that's just fucking
Yeah, I
a deposit fucking depository for cum, and it makes it like that's her job essentially that
Yeah.
she created for herself.
making more than you and I put together.
Hmm.
So I,
Yeah, but you know, yin and yang, man. I'm telling you, the thing I think you guys shared, or friends of mine shared, with a younger girl that was doing OnlyFans and how it impacted like the rest of her family, which
Yeah.
was like
Yeah,
terrible.
I think
I gotta pee real quick. You guys talk about it.
God
Yeah.
damn it. I think I retweeted it. Where
Gosh.
yeah, basically
There's
was
an OnlyFans model who sits there once a month, asks her brother how her having OnlyFans has affected him.
yeah,
Okay.
and
Her
basically
brother is in junior high.
yeah,
Okay.
he's explained how like a lot of friends have come up and like saying, "Hey, is this your sister?" And it just shows like, you know,
Her content.
how
And what does she say?
well, she's obviously embarrassed as all hell and she feels bad for putting her brother through this stuff. And so I retweeted and just said like as much as I joke about it and people are free to do with their bodies and OnlyFans whatever they want, but this is an example of the ripple effect it could have on others. Just saying think about it before the commitment.
I 100% agree with you, but there's a lot of people that,
Don't.
well, I shouldn't say that don't. Um, they do, but they still go ahead with it. That doesn't mean that they don't care what those people think.
Correct.
It's just that, hey, this is something that I want to do. And there's some OnlyFans models out there that are actually trying to do this. Yes, they do the provocative stuff, but some of them are actually trying to get into
Modeling or acting.
modeling or acting, the legitimately. I know it's kind of a shitty way to do it, but it's happened. A few of them have gotten out there, and a few of them have gotten into the business. I don't know how prominent they are, and I can't give you names, but I think it's just an avenue of somebody. The OnlyFans isn't just.
No, it's not.
It's not just there are people out there that actually use OnlyFans like they would a Patreon.
Yeah, I'm not
Or-
targeting those. I'm not talking about those individuals. What I was
Right.
referring to specifically was
Even the ones that get naked. Who cares?
no. What I was
Who
saying was is
cares?
that I feel like that there is a wave of people who do that type of content, but they don't. And again, like I said, they are free to do with what they want. They are free to do it if they wish. I'm not
I
judging them for doing that, but I know that there is at least a sizable portion of those people who do that who
I'm
do
gonna
not.
say this when
Okay.
you're done. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. We done? Or no? Asking, goddamn, fuck me. All right.
He was very obviously not done because he was in the middle of a sentence.
There is a portion of those people
I
who have
got
just
you.
gone ahead and ran with it, doing the a more provocative type of content specifically, obviously, that didn't understand like, hey, you're putting all of yourself out there. I have a friend or two
Mm-hmm.
who started doing that stuff, and it's just like it made like the friendship very fucking awkward for obvious fucking reasons. So
I get it.
yeah, I'm just saying is that exists. That's all.
I so I was going through my anger stuff.
All
Okay.
right, you have my full attention now. I want to see how this ends. Go ahead.
And I did OnlyFans for about 7 months.
This is before I met any of you people. And
Okay.
this is a true fucking story. All
Mhm.
right. I'm opening a book here.
No,
I'm
no.
telling you a piece of my life. About 7 years ago? I want to say seven, no, longer than that.
Yeah,
2018.
because Wendy.
Oh, 7 years before
Sometime in the past.
It's about 14 years ago. I'll go 12. I'll go 12 years ago. I was going through some issues of always being angry. Whenever somebody would ask me a question, I would snap at them. I was having mental
Rage.
Yes. So I went and I called. We have a resource called Military One Source, and they provide you 12 free sessions with a psychiatrist slash psychologist to sit down and talk about your problems. So I did that, right? And I sat down, and at the time, I was watching porn all the time.
Just 24/7.
All the fucking time, right?
Just 24/7.
Yeah, I was. So I was essentially addicted to porn, right? So I went to the psychologist slash psychiatrist, and he goes, and he's just talking about what's your daily life like. And I said, well, I can be honest with you, Doc. I play video games and watch porn. And he goes, let's talk about the porn thing. I'm like, okay. Does that make me a bad person that I watch porn all the time? And he goes, no, it's normal. I'm like, how is it
Well,
normal?
maybe not all the time.
If people think it, so porn gets it
The
gets
McDonald's manager didn't seem to think so.
porn gets it. There's a stigma to porn that it's bad. Not all of it is, but it depends on what is being presented when it comes to that.
Very accurate.
So if you're sitting there watching 17-year-old girls, that's child pornography right there. That's against the law. That's just sick wrong.
But if they're 18,
So it's how you, these people that actually do the porn, they're very creative. They are.
I'm sorry.
They're
the way I thought of it.
If you haven't watched, you have to watch one to really understand. They do the story behind why they're doing it is actually can be intriguing if it's done right.
Yeah, JP, I'm not disagreeing with you.
No.
I think we're I think we're both in agreement. We're just talking about two different aspects of it. I'm talking about a niche piece of these people. I'm not saying that there isn't quality, good, and even wholesome content on OnlyFans. I was just pointing this out based off of the tweet I just saw.
I will say, like,
the effect it had.
It is a type of work that segregates you and is looked upon in a certain way for a reason.
For sure.
I'm going to say, yes, the majority of people, like fucking 95% of people have seen or do watch porn, right? Like, it's not this, oh my God, I can't believe it.
I'm closing tabs as we speak.
But I will say, the world has not wanted to normalize that industry for a reason, in my opinion. Because, like, if you're going to normalize that type of sex work, especially, and this is my biggest problem with OnlyFans, with the sex work aspect of it, is it's not only normalizing, it's you're making quick money, developing no real skill.
Yep.
And you what's going to be hurt? It's because you're a public figure at this point. You're online. If you're making good money on OnlyFans, you will get recognized in public, just like on YouTube or anything else. Mm-hmm. So you have to weigh. The scales come out. Am I going to whale? Am I going to weigh? Slip of the tongue there. If I'm going to weigh my actual myself versus what I can make in money, then I think it's fair to judge someone that makes that decision. It's like anything else. If I'm going to go fucking murder people, I know it's not the same thing. But if I'm going to go shoot up a school, you're making that decision. If I'm going to do something else that would be amoral, then you get judged for it. It's just how our society works. It's how we keep people from not becoming an immoral mess. And then I guess it all depends on how you look at like sexual acts and the sanctity of marriage and the sanctity of relationships and what is important to you. I'm a very firm believer in, probably the thing that most people don't want to hear. If you're going to stick with somebody, you stick with somebody.
Yeah.
That one person, you don't fucking fuck around. There's a billion different fucking aspects or avenues that you can go from there. But I don't think like the problem is if my sister or my mother decides to do OnlyFans and I'm getting punished for their decision, that's a problem.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yes.
And that's really my biggest gripe with it. Otherwise, I don't give a shit. I don't personally, I couldn't personally be with somebody that did it, but that's just me.
Yeah, I had actually, as I mentioned before, a group of friends where like, two of them were obviously together. She started doing OnlyFans. They split not too long afterwards, and he said that wasn't like, it wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back, but it was like the close, like the
Right.
second to last
My,
one.
my problem is like I am not a voyeur, and I like there's certain things that like should be for me and my significant other,
Yep.
Yes.
not for the world. When when that goes away, what do we have between each other? Essentially, that isn't just
Feet.
work.
Feet pics.
Yeah, well, that's OnlyFans too.
By the way, if you guys want any,
Already OnlyFans.
by the way, if you guys want any 20% off.
But I mean, a lot of these women are making a fucking killing.
Mm-hmm. But I think
It's also
I think
like,
this is-
do you want like young girls to, like look up to be that?
I think this is going to be a bubble that's going to burst if it hasn't already.
It's very close. It's very close to becoming. I don't even understand why it existed to begin with. Like me personally, OnlyFans. Yeah, but OnlyFans. I'm like, if you want to see, like, even OnlyFans. If you want to see OnlyFans, fucking people naked doing whatever they do on their OnlyFans, you're a search away. You don't need to subscribe to it.
Right.
So why are you paying? This is not like it's. I really don't fully blame the people doing it. I blame the people enabling it as well. Like if you're gonna have 10 billion, if you're gonna make $10 million a month on OnlyFans, if it's wild, man. That should never happen. Personally, to me.
No, it shouldn't.
But and then like JP, I get your point too. OnlyFans isn't just porn, right? You got modeling, you've got other content too. They're doing like fight nights and shit like that. So they're trying to make it not just porn, but they started as a porn company for the most
We
part.
did.
I don't know. I don't hate OnlyFans. I just
Not
come
either.
on, man. Why? Why are people giving these people $10 million a month? Like Mandy Rose is making, she was making tons of money, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think she was doing any porn. She was just fucking photo
Oh, no,
shoots.
she was showing her nakedness.
Well, that's like
That's
fine.
the reason why
That's
she was released from WWE, because her and her fiance at the time were mimicking having sex
Yeah.
in the showers of one of the arenas,
Yeah.
and she put it up on the OnlyFans. So it was softcore porn.
That and the who's she was just released.
Mandy
Lacey Evans.
Rose.
Lacey Evans. There you go. She's an oldie fan. She was making some
She's
money.
still doing
too.
OnlyFans.
But
Oh,
I
shit.
honestly think like if you're gonna go like these are women fitness models doing like nude photo shoots. It's not necessarily for me because I'm not fucking 68 years old. But teach your own. Like that is a bit more whatever. But like if you're gonna have like to me it would be weird if I was Lacey Evans' kid, fucking 14 years old, goes to school.
Yeah.
I saw your mom's
Yeah.
tits. It's like, well, I gotta live with that, and that had nothing to do with me, not my
Yeah.
decision. I don't like that. That's the aspect of that work that you can never get rid of.
Agreed.
So you can say what you want and feel how you want, but when you put like your decisions on other people, I don't think it's fair.
Correct. I'm right there with you.
It's just there's a couple other topics, but they're in the description, and I don't or can't see them.
Hey, hold on, let me see. Cause I got the stream open, dude.
Or at least I think
Tonight
they
we will
are.
discuss the success of Captain America: Brave New World. Triple H unveils
we
new
did that,
independent
yeah.
titles. Jeff Hardy says he wants to return
yeah.
to WWE.
There you go. We're not done with wrestling. Jeff Hardy. I saw this. I don't know if it's true or not. On Twitter, where Jeff Hardy wanted to go back to WWE, and finally with his head clear, and not being this guy that's addicted to everything.
I can tell you right now, it's true because they've already announced that the Hardy Boys will be at WrestleMania.
Yeah, they're gonna be doing stuff during Access because and they are the TNA World Tag Team Champions currently.
I've really my biggest problem with this is they're both washed.
Yes.
I'm right there with you. Like I am cool. Like I'm a fan of them. I'm not a super fan of them, but like
Same. I think you and me are in the same boat with them.
we're like neutral territory with them. It's like you're done. We're good.
Yeah.
Like wrap it up, guys.
I'm gonna say this. Jeff may not be as done as Matt Hardy is. However, the amount of times that he was busted and put into rehab for DUIs and shit like that, he has lost the respect of a lot of the fans.
So
Sure.
what? Now?
Jeff Hardy.
So Jeff Hardy wants to come back to WWE.
So I wouldn't say they're returning. Well,
Oh, they are returning, but these guys basically said they are.
Here's the thing. So they did show up already.
Mhm.
They were on NXT, but they weren't at the show. But they
Were they in the
did
audience or
it
something?
yet. So I
Promo
can't remember
backstage.
who it is. But Nathan Frazier and Axiom are taking on a couple of people, and I can't remember who they're wrestling, but they called out Matt and Jeff Hardy.
Heather said Matt and Jeff Hardy will be at
Matt
Mania.
Matt and Jeff Hardy then came on the screen after a couple of matches, so they didn't have them together. So they came on and then they said, you called us out, that's fine. And, they did the whole spiel. And then they said, so what it's going to end up happening is Matt and Jeff Hardy are going to show up at Stand and Deliver. And they are probably going to take on Adam Frazier and Axiom at Stand and Deliver.
That was Nathan Frazier.
Did I say Adam Frazier?
You did.
Yeah.
Nathan Frazier.
I mean, when it comes to the Hardys, what I don't think you were here for
I
is
think they're going into the Hall of Fame.
we all basically said they're done, right? In ring.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't there anymore. Jeff's lost like 10 steps. Matt Hardy has no steps left. So
If they want to come back as like coaches or like maybe a producer role, then fuck yeah, like let's
or even
bring
like
them in.
a tag team that hardly wrestles but is like part of a faction.
Actually, if you wanted to have like a tag team specialists at the Performance Center, I mean, come on.
If WWE got Darby Allin, I'd put him as the guy and them as his like managers.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Something like that. I mean, Alpha says, I don't know if I can believe a single word Jeff Hardy says now. Every time he's gotten clean, he's fallen back into habits repeatedly. Even if it's true, I think the Hardy's time is up. Both of them are lucky they can still walk, let alone wrestle. It's pretty true. I mean, I don't disagree with anything he's saying.
So the name itself.
The entrance alone will pop people.
So I get what everybody's saying.
If they want to do a ladder match tag team, throw them in that.
Here's the thing. I think Jeff Hardy couldn't handle the pressure, and it caused him to start using, and then he became an addict.
There's a million reasons why somebody can become an addict, and a lot of times,
that's an assumption that he's just not telling.
I could believe that it just became,
much.
Yeah, but also like a lot of people will abuse something to alleviate either pain
Oh yeah.
or stress,
Yeah.
and
I
that's
think
kind of takes
that's
over.
part of it. That's part of it for sure.
Yeah,
I
I think
almost
Jeff
get-
Hardy got over, but he was never somebody that could have been a star on the mic. So it was all like over the top. Like he's an extremist. So what
Yeah.
is it? What do you think that's gonna? What do you think you're gonna lean into?
So,
So I'm not just gonna drink one beer. I'm gonna drink 5,000,
Yeah.
or I'm not gonna
so
just take a
I
shot. I'm
think-
gonna take 12.
I think at some point they're going to end up in the Hall of Fame. They might.
I'm
even
surprised
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised they're not in already. To be honest, but I mean, with the way it's going, they'll be in next year because it seems like Triple H wants to put people in before they're dead. Thank God. Let them experience their flowers. Don't wait till they're dead. Terrible.
Right. Got it.
Um, I don't know wrestling wise if there's anything else or anything else in the
The
description.
only other
there.
thing I see here is P. Diddy's lawyer walks away.
Yeah, P. Diddy's lawyer was like, in no way can I continue with this case, and he abandoned him. So that's pretty telling to me.
Yeah. Especially since it happened the day that Cash Patel got confirmed for FBI.
Yeah, that's the double whammy there.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, this new government ain't gonna let me grease those
No.
wheels no more.
P. Diddy's fucked even more.
Well, the funny part too is like when it comes down to it, P. Diddy's like he probably gave the guy a blank check, write a number on there,
Yeah.
and no number
Yep.
will amount to him being saved.
No. Especially now.
Too bad for P. Diddy, fucking piece of shit. I don't care.
Hey,
The P. Diddy was always like, even when like back in the day when like he was with Biggie Smalls and everybody after that, I was like, how is this guy still relevant? He's the only person with no talent.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, he's the only person with no talent, but his talent was.
And I only remember like one or two songs. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
else
we
do
just
you do?
we just included you in those as like a whatever. He's like, I'm a producer, I'm a mogul, I got a lot of oils.
Dave Chappelle did his SNL monologue. I rewatched it a couple days ago, and I love how he talked about the baby oil. He's like, he had thousands of bottles of baby oil. It's like, I cannot recall going through one bottle of baby oil in my life. I can't remember throwing it. I can't remember throwing an empty one away. He's like, he goes, if I go to my mother's house now and we open it up, that baby oil was there from when I was like a child. That baby oil, it lasts forever. I can't imagine. He goes, fucker went through like 1,000.
Yeah.
It's either he's doing what he did or he's The Rock. The Rock's always fucking
He's the
lathered
baby
up.
oil.
Yeah. It makes me pop. I don't know if there's anything else you guys heard in passing you want to talk about. Anything
got one
popping out in
thing.
your brain? Any wrestling related topics? Anything
No.
AEW? Anything? Well, TNA had Moose and Moose and
showed
Obi
up at
Fema, and then Oba Femi, whatever the fuck his name is,
Femi, yeah.
showed up at TNA.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm loving this crossover.
Yeah, they're really pushing the crossover between the two, which is neat.
Good shit. Do you think TNA will be bought out by the end of the year?
No.
No, they'll probably be fed a little extra money.
The problem is if they buy out TNA, it's just another thing they have to control. If they have people in place there,
Oh, sorry. I just remembered this little piece of news. I heard that WWE. I could be wrong on this, but so cool. TKO has acquired the library and all the rights of Lucha Underground.
yes, I heard this as well.
That would be fucking
That
awesome.
tells you why that's huge, because
Yeah.
you look at who is in WWE now, most of the prominent stars from that show are on WWE.
And they're on AEW.
Now they could do nothing with it and just keep it for the library.
Brian Cage, Ricochet,
Adam Page was never on Lucha Underground.
Brian Cage.
Oh, Brian Cage. Brian Cage is an
Brian
afterthought.
Cage. Well, Matanza Cueto's on New Japan. And Helico. He's on AEW. Where's that other guy? The guy that teamed with Angelico.
I don't think Angelico's been on TV in like
No, he hasn't.
years.
But he was signed with AEW. What Jack something? You guys know who I'm
Evans?
talking about? Jack Evans. Where's he?
Yeah, wasn't he with Angelico?
Yeah, they were tag
Tag
team.
team?
I think he's in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what's crazy? Like he's actually very good.
He was. I remember him being super over in the early days of Ring of Honor, and that's where he really popped. He was doing some crazy ass shit as far as
I'm gonna say he's
athletically.
he's really good. I don't know, like storytelling wise. I don't know where the fuck this guy is.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him in years.
It's kind of like it's like a reverse Too Cool, where it's like, oh, okay, Too Cool had the fun gimmick.
I would say Angelico and Jack Evans, if they were in WWE, they would be like fucking Pentagon and Phoenix Light in terms of ability.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I don't know what they could do on the mic, whatever.
Evans is kind of just nah.
Evans peaked really early though. It feels like.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, AEW has like half the talent
I actually really did like Lucha Underground, and it wasn't so much for the wrestling. It was.
I like the presentation.
Yeah,
like the presentation and the way they presented their story.
Well, they would have like this, like people would drive up to the arena. It was an underground thing happening in Mexico.
Underground seedy,
fight club. Everything, the production value, and the way that they presented their storylines was something
the storylines revolved around the show.
But they also had like a Vince McMahon character.
It revolved around one fucking person. It revolved around the whole fucking show.
Yeah, and they had a general manager that kind of took care of everything. Who's an actor?
It's Twisted Metal in wrestling.
It is. That's honestly as close as you can get to the right way to compare
it. It just popped in my head. But yeah, I don't think that
Kill Shot is an AEW.
I don't think they're going to do anything with the property. I think they're obviously going to add it to their fucking library. But as far as what they do with Lucha Underground, I mean, it would be interesting if they did do something with it. But I just don't think right now it's necessary.
The way I look at it is, they're going to do what they did with ECW. Not immediately. Like if they took over ECW, Lucha Underground's been dead for a while. They're just gonna add it to the vault or something. I don't think they're gonna reignite ECW. Just like I don't think they're gonna reignite Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
It's too similar to AEW, and I don't. Why even try at that point?
No, I agree. I agree. I think that they shouldn't do anything with it.
But it's great that they acquired it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's as close as you can get to ECW and AEW, but done in a style that's more intriguing for me at least. It wasn't the best thing ever or anything like that, but they really utilized an hour well.
Yes, they did. I like the storytelling aspect of it. Even the wrestling was okay.
I like the wrestling, but I watched this with the caveat that I was really into ECW beforehand. Right, I watched ECW, then I watched Lucha Underground, then I came to WWE NXT. I came back to WWE.
What about Wrestling Society X?
What is that?
What? Oh, the gem that was Wrestling Society X. You don't know what that was?
It's terrible.
It was terrible. Basically, it was MTV's attempt to kind of like have their own wrestling promotion. I think it was mostly run by Vampiro, if I'm not mistaken. It was very MTV. It was almost like if TRL and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater came together.
Yeah,
and
it's a
produced a wrestling
grungy.
show.
They tried to do shit. Yeah,
yeah, it's grungy. Like for me, visual presentation. For me, loved it.
It's probably similar to Lucha Underground in terms of like the grungy, gritty presentation.
Let me see if I can show. But like obviously, like they tried with storylines and stuff.
Lucha Underground had some like things that I've never seen in wrestling before, which is why I really liked it. The Gift of the Gods belt I thought was a really smart idea. Where
Beautiful belt.
like, it's a beautiful belt, but it's also a smart idea where like it's basically a Money in the Bank, but not. Like you win a part of the belt, and when you get all
Right.
parts of the belt comes together, magnetized to look great.
This
Oh.
was the Wrestling Society X arena, so quote unquote.
Very house show.
Right.
Yeah.
Not as like the thing is like I look at this the pull up Lucha Underground's arena, and it was like dimmed to the Mexican yellow,
Oh yeah.
and it was bloody already before they started.
That's obviously.
Well,
just
that's
the
it.
production.
Yes, it's production. But like, if you go down a couple, they dimmed out a lot of the crowd. No, you go
Yeah,
up,
I love
go
that.
up a little
I
bit.
love that.
Yeah. There you go. Dimmed out the crowd. They had the symbol in the middle. They had blood or dirt on the mat already, and it was kind of like it was being done in a warehouse, which is like what they wanted to do.
There we go. That's what we wanted. It like that's. I still hope to run my own promotion if I ever do. That's the aesthetic I'm looking for. That's what I'm aiming to.
Great. It was like an underground fight club with rest. It was just, it encapsulated all the things I like in wrestling. Just done enough right with the right amount of cheese.
Right.
right amount of what?
It was never. It's never gonna be WWE. There's never even close. But like
No.
if you're gonna do an indie promotion or something like in that realm, it's the way you should have done it.
Yep.
And
I would
please
never
God,
want- I
don't
would
bring it
never want-
back.
Wait,
Please
what?
God,
Bring
don't bring it back.
Bring what back? ECW?
No, Lucha Underground, just like ECW.
Oh no. Yeah, no. That's what I said. Like I don't think they're gonna do anything with the property unless they do like a documentary. Which actually, a documentary by then would be pretty damn
Be
good.
around for 3 seasons. I don't know if I would do it if it's really there's much of a documentary there.
No,
Well-
don't do a documentary. But the one thing I'll say is, if they do a documentary, you got to get fucking. What was his name?
I'm not even saying right now, but I'm just saying as
Why
far as
can't
what else
I
they can
delete
do with the
this?
IP.
What was the guy's name? The main guy.
Cueto, that's all I remember.
Actually, shit.
Yeah. It was Cueto because his brother was Matanza, a
and
monster
would
he
only
locked
bring
up.
him out- He would only bring him out as when he
Yeah.
wanted. Yeah,
I just thought about
Dario Cueto or something like that.
Dario Cueto. Yep,
what
that was his name.
what if they have Lucha Underground be like a Mexican soap opera?
That's kind of what it
product.
was.
That's what it was already.
Like it
But have
bridged
it-
the gap more soap opera than WWE does, even though
No, but hear me
that's
out. But
pretty much
have
what they
it,
compare to.
but have it be almost like a Mexican NXT.
Well, then just do
Just-
NXT Mexico then.
Yeah, I don't want them. Thing is, they're never going to be able to reproduce what they did, and I just don't want another WWE ECW. Try
Yeah, I don't-
hard,
I definitely agree on that one.
I don't either.
try
I think
hard.
having the library is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can put it on Netflix.
And anybody, you know what? You like wrestling? It's like 2 or 3 seasons long, and you're done, and you don't have to watch it ever again.
Well,
Unless you want to, yeah.
Yeah, but it does give you a pretty good insight to a lot of the top wrestling talent that exists today,
Yes.
and how different they were back then.
agreed.
They were also smart enough to put a fucking mask on Ricochet
Yep.
and just make him be a
He
prime
and I
wrestler.
will be honest with you, what Basement is saying, he was more intriguing with that mask on.
Yep. And the one they had they put it was this Lucha Underground. Everybody had a mask, right? Where most people did, unless you're one of the American wrestlers. But they put a mask on Santos Escobar, who looks like a completely different person than what he was in Lucha Underground.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
But he was great in Lucha Underground, man.
Selena
first
Vega
season-
was great. Lucha Underground.
They had Sexy Star was her name, but she got not Selena Vega,
Yeah,
but she
she's-
got
she's-
in
She's still
trouble.
around. She's okay. The girl that was Sexy Star is not there anymore, but they do have the character Sexy Star still.
She got in trouble. Is all I know.
Yeah, the original one, yes.
For something. I don't know what the fuck she did. I can't remember.
She choked out Rosemary and wouldn't let the hold go.
Yeah, that's not good. I didn't really care. Like the women's division, I didn't really care about. But this is also the only women's division I cared about was WWE NXT, personally.
Yeah.
And I'm
Man,
starting to get there with WWE main roster, but it's
T-
still not there.
TNA in the mid 2000s had a really strong women's division. Like when they were
I'm surprised because of the
not-
talent that existed then.
not immediately after they introduced the Knockouts title, but not too long after. I'd say within like the first year of its existence, because they had Awesome Kong come in, and then they had
But,
Gail Kim.
Awesome Kong
I
was
think
not
you're
that
over talking the
great.
women's division in TNA. I really do. I thought it was terrible.
Did anybody else watch the fucking Gold and Black women's NXT division? Because it was incredible.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Like it was 8 out of 10 for about 5-6
Yeah.
months, maybe.
Agreed. I thought longer, but
Awesome Kong is not that good. She's all right. She's all right, but if that's the like selling point of the women's division, I don't know.
No, it's not. I'm just talking about the timetable.
Who else was there?
Never
They
mind.
had Madison Rain, they had Mickey James, they had Gail Kim,
Never mind. It sucked. Anyway, moving on.
they had Reby Sky, who was Matt Hardy's wife.
Rubbing that salt in the wound. All right.
Okay, yep, it wasn't that good.
I'm trying. There's a couple others.
There was
Christy Hemme, Maria Kanellis.
There was 6
just got-
months to a year of great women's wrestling, and nothing
did
else
have-
exists.
They did have Chelsea Green. They had Rosemary. That's when it was really good, when they had Allie,
Yeah.
Rosemary, Chelsea Green, Maria Kanellis. That they were doing a really good job of storytelling, and the in ring was actually not bad. It was great, but it wasn't bad. Gail Kim was a part of that.
Mickey James. was
Velvet
starting
Sky, Angelina Love. They were actually really good. That's when they were really good. Was like 2010, 2011.
Well, I mean, most of us grew up during the Attitude Era, where women's wrestling was, and before that, it didn't. Before that, it didn't exist. So, like like for the most part, yes, there was women's wrestling, but
No,
it's
I
been
didn't grow
shit
up in
for
the Attitude Era.
yeah. Well, you should have,
I know, right?
but I mean, women's wrestling has been so bad for so long that
Agreed.
that 1 year in NXT, I'm like, they can do it.
Yeah.
It is possible. And then I
Yeah,
got shit on my face after that. So I was like, all right,
Like,
never mind.
I know. I know. Obviously, this may not be the greatest thing to hear, but like, yeah, there was a lot of trepidation as far as the women's division goes. As far as can, there be a flourishing women's division as opposed to just like, hey, we're gonna feature so and so. That like, it got to the point where, even when they brought the women's title back, Trish and Lita were kind of the headliners of that division for a good while, and it's just like, okay, well, now what? Granted, there were other women that like cycled through, but like it wasn't really that deep. And it wasn't until
But it was all
much like-
gimmicky bullshit for the most part. Like the wrestling was
Yeah.
terrible.
yeah.
Like
So-
when prioritized wrestling, it was the best.
So it was unfortunately just a matter of just like, well, we don't have a lot of faith in the division because it was very shallow, not just in terms of the list of talent, but also like what you got product wise. Hell, I remember Michelle McCool said something about like she did a match and then she's like, hey, you have to go back out there and redo your match, and she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? They're like, yeah, your match looked, your punches were too good. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? So they had a lot of things going against them.
I will say
And-
the second best era for women's wrestling is happening right now in NXT.
Yes.
Agreed. So to your point, Basement, when the wave of women's wrestling came up in NXT, that I was like, I was right with you, where it's like, holy shit, they can do it.
Well, the reason it's so impressive for me is the fact that the men's roster was firing on all cylinders,
Yeah.
and the women were like right beside them, right? Like I'm like I watched this NXT pay per view. I'm like, man, that is pretty much an 8.5 out of 10. There was nothing bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's as close as you're gonna get to great
Was
overall
it a
wrestling.
takeover?
There was a series of takeovers, and I think it's like 3 to 6 takeovers, something like that. That were all, I think, some of the best wrestling put on that I've
By the
ever
way,
seen.
real quick, there is a updated WWE NXT YouTube channel that's showing a lot of the classic takeovers and stuff. It's kind of like the Vault, which has been another gemstone in terms of just like if you love the old school stuff, it's really fun. I saw
Well,
a match between.
on Netflix itself, there is a
Yeah.
full-on NXT vault.
But I will
Okay.
say, and just like right now, JP's experiencing that I'm not so much, and Connor probably to a lesser extent than me, and Heather, you're fucking seeing what he see is the fact that when you watch something, you're watching it continuous. You know, Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. If when I watch those NXT pay per views, I was watching every NXT. So it's not just like going back in a time capsule and looking at NXT Takeover, because if I deemed it a 9, anybody that went back there would probably give it a 7 or an 8 max,
Right.
because you don't have the history of what was happening at the time,
Right.
and that always makes things better. But
Yeah.
I digress.
Agree. I think we
No.
we hit everything on the list. Yeah.
Now, one important thing to say is we will be.
Yeah, I got something important to say too, but go ahead.
No, you say it first because mine's kind of like a
No,
wrap up.
I'm gonna be a while. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I'm going to mention this now. We are going to be reorganizing our schedule.
Yes.
We don't know yet where certain things will land, but we will still be consistent week to week with most of our programming. Certain
Yeah.
things might change days as we move forward, and then might change days later as all of our lives change.
Yeah.
But that's really all I had to say. So if you have the notification bell, you'll see when we go live. But No Bucks Given will probably find a different day, and certain things might switch around.
Yeah, Twitter also, or X, whatever the fuck it's called now. Just will if you and to Basement's point, the bell notification is going to be your best friend as far as figuring that out. We'll eventually find back into a groove, in terms of what's working out best. So just bear with us as we juggle and finagle. That burp had a little extra to it. As we juggle and finagle the schedule a little bit, just until we can figure some shiznit out. So it's all good. It's just a little
Life happens,
rearranging.
baby.
Little rearranging.
Be patient.
Yeah.
That being said, the thing I can't be patient with.
Yeah.
I am a huge supporter of what this Department of Government Efficiency is doing.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Doge,
I don't mind that they're trying to find all of the fraud, waste and abuse that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
What I have a problem with is on a Sunday afternoon, I read Twitter and I see Elon Musk tweeting out that all government employees, all federal employees will have to submit an email to wherever it goes. I don't know where it even fucking goes. But also CCing your supervisor / manager on what you have done, what you did last week. I have no problem doing this. In fact, this is where I have a problem. And I'm getting to the problem. I, in fact, do this on a weekly basis. I report to my boss at the end of the week 5 things that I have done. Why in the fuck do I need to send an email to Human Resources stating that I have what I've done this last week? You want me to get behind you on the fraud, waste, and abuse, and it's got to be due tomorrow. Well, guess what? I don't work tomorrow. It's my regular day off. And they did state specifically in that email, if you do not respond by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Monday, we'll consider that a resignation. I don't work Mondays, at least not yet. It's my regular day off. I work 4/10s. I work Tuesday through Friday. If I was to actually go in and submit and do that email, which I did it already. I've got it. I've just got to finish typing it out, right? I have to get in my computer, log on, send my email, which will take me 5-10 minutes to type it up, right? And send it all in one. I can't work just 5 minutes of overtime. I have to work 2 hours of overtime. I have to put in for 2 hours of overtime for a 5-minute email. Now, tell me how that's efficient.
Well, I can tell you what you're looking at is somebody that bought a company, slept on company's grounds, worked all the time. Man's fucking part owner of Tesla, wants to go to Mars, is the best Diablo player in the world, fucking chainsawing everybody in the world, and is constantly on Twitter. This is a person that expects from everybody what he expects of himself, which is terrible leadership, in my honest opinion. I agree to an extent that there's a lot of government fat, right? And it does need to be trimmed away.
I do not mind the email.
No, but what I don't like is like forcing a time frame that doesn't make sense for all. Like if I got this email, for instance, right?
So here's the problem with
you don't send an email on Sunday. First of all,
he tweeted this out on a fucking Sunday morning when nobody's at fucking work. They're gonna open up their fucking email and they'll be like, "I gotta come up with 5 things."
Well, I mean,
I just sent this to my boss on Friday. Why do I have to fucking send
well,
it
you know why? Because it's a different level of government
they're
requesting
trying
it,
to
right?
weed out the fucking people.
But it's also a different level of government requesting it. They got to request it from the individuals, not the bosses, right? So, I mean, when it comes down to it, I understand why it's happening. But at the same time, it's really stupid to give people no time to respond, considering you don't know. Like, there's just certain levels of government that are open 24/7. For instance, if I got this email on Monday and it had to be responded to by Tuesday, I would never know and I would be fired. Because I can't. They don't pay me enough and my position is not good enough to be present on the days I'm not there. And if that's the expectations, fuck off, fire me. I'm good. Let me go. I'm not going to be available 7 days a week. There's no reason for me to be available 7 days a week. And if the job can't operate with me being there, then I should be paid double what I'm getting.
Agreed. So and this is just, and look, I'm all for them finding fraud, waste, and abuse. I'm all for it. This isn't.
Well, the problem is they're going to the overcorrection is what you're feeling. When every single fucking government will overcorrect.
Our government has gotten away with so fucking much shit that I seen this fucking coming from a mile of fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to really try to crack down and get rid of all of this, all the fat. Like when they started coming out, when I the $55 million for the proper look of an ice cube, what the fuck is this?
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know what the truth of all that. I think.
Oh, it's true.
I mean, I think a lot of the I'm gonna go with what the press secretary woman was saying, and a lot of the weird shit she was talking. It's for dance lessons for transgenders in Uganda. It's like, why? What does that mean, right? But
Well, okay,
Well,
so
the other stuff,
okay,
the other stuff was actually proven with links to the actual government page of those research.
so the government will put earmarks in a fucking bill.
Gotta take a quick piss.
so do I.
Like
But I'm holding it
they'll
in.
say this bill is the
It's
Well,
the budget.
it'll be
inflation
bullshit. It'll be
hold on.
bullshit, really.
So the way they do it, the way that our government fucking Congress does shit is the Inflation Reduction Act. Yes, it's called the Inflation Reduction Act. It's to reduce inflation, right?
Wow,
They will put something in there that $55 million for Ukraine for them to make assessment. It'll be for them to have Ukraine. Well, what will Ukraine do with it? Well, what Uganda did with it is they made a fucking Sesame Street. That's what they did with the money that we fucking gave them, the taxpayers gave them, to create a fucking Sesame Street. Why don't you just fucking watch Sesame Street and fucking change the fucking language? How fucking hard is that?
I can tell you with the way that I perceive what they're doing. Unfortunately, JP, your job it might be in danger. It shouldn't be.
No,
It shouldn't
not.
be, is what I'm saying. It shouldn't be. But like you're looking at like a tangible government where like the intangibles are helping someone through something terrible, things like that. Elon Musk is a fucking numbers guy, I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
So if you can't certain things, oh, I help somebody not commit suicide, or I helped a family dealing with suicide. There's no number really attached to that.
Right.
That's where I worry.
Well, if that happens, you're going to see those numbers increase, and they're like, "Why is this happening?"
Well, I mean, they cut off like what I've
numbers?
seen at least. They cut off like aid to mothers dealing with certain postpartum or something, and it's like, well,
So, but they cut off funding to it because pretty much it's just they have psychologists that you don't need research for it. You have psychologists.
I think the American government is going to overcut, and it's going to birth a lot of problems in the future because,
for sure.
I can tell you right now, there's a reason a lot of these things existed. Yes, they were taken advantage of as time went on. Like everything, people fuck everything up. But like you're gonna skim more than the fat, and then people will be like, "Well, why is this happening?" Well, remember when Elon Musk decided to fucking destroy everything?
Well, I think
They're overcorrecting,
I
man.
will
That's all
tell
I'm
you
gonna
this
say.
right now. I don't with
Agreed.
my job as long as I'm producing, which I do. I don't think it's going to go away because it is a need. There is a need for it. And number two, they can do all of this stuff, but it's not. Congress is the one that they run this. Congress runs this country.
My worry is like if they're gonna cut things back, being like, well, there's brochures and websites. Why do we need a person? Like this is my worry for a lot of things.
So I do more than just provide research.
I'm not saying anything about your job. It's just like this is my mindset for because every time he cuts money, it's a pat on the back, a pat on the back, a pat on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So my worry is like they're gonna overcut and people will suffer for it. But in the 4 years that he's president, it'll be applause.
So here's the thing with that.
I gotta pee, but
He can go ahead and they can cut my job, but they have to help me find another one, which is going to cost them more money in the long run. They can't just say you're fired for no good reason. You can't just. They can do a reduction in force, but they just have to find me another job.
Yeah.
That's it. That's in the contract.
I don't think they've thought this out as much as we think they've
No,
thought this out.
they're overreaching right now, and
Oh, for sure.
they're trying to weed out those people, and have them. Most people are going to respond, and I will respond. I'm sure my boss would be like, "We need you to respond." I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to have to do 2 hours of overtime. They're going to pay me
Ching.
$180 to send a fucking 5-minute email."
Hey, that is a great problem to have.
So it's not, because I don't make that much an hour. It's like, I think I make 20.
What I'm saying is you get 2 hours of overtime for doing 5 minutes of work.
But
That's
it's
a great.
20. Well, it would be like 100 because
It's
it's
double pay.
double time. So
All
it's
right.
$52 an hour.
There you
think
fucking go.
So so they come on, man. You're really going to pay me $52 an hour to send a 2-hour
Yep. Hey. Yeah.
5-minute email? I mean, I'm for it. I'm really not for overtime. I think overtime is a scam.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I agree with you there.
So overtime is a funny thing. Yes, it's 4 hours of overtime, but that 4 hours of overtime, more taxes are taken out of your check.
You pretty much work for either the same wage or like less when you do overtime. You just don't get it in the moment. But when taxes come due, it's like, oh well, holy fucking shit. I'll never work overtime again. I refused it time and time again. I don't care.
I have to just say, there have been times this past year where I've gotten my check and I've seen the total of the deductions, and it really, it felt like a punch in the fucking gut, like of how much they took out. I'm like, oh my god.
They're trying to. He is trying so hard. They're really focusing on the federal employees because of the return to work.
I'm telling you, they're really going to put huge pressure on things. They're going to overpressure because they have to overproduce. Trump is in this place where he's fast tracking a presidency because he only has 4 years. Yep. Right? He's fast tracking the tariffs. He's fast tracking the cuts, and he's got to be like, well, and those. He wants to walk away in the 4 years and being like, well, look at what I did, but he's probably going to leave a bit of a mess for whoever comes in afterwards.
He hasn't even hit 60 days yet, right?
No. But look how much they're doing.
He just passed 30.
Yeah. So he's not even within.
He's probably on like day 35.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
I mean, it's a necessary evil of doing these things, but they're going to, like I said, they're going to overcorrect. This is how the world works. People could get against something and they overcorrect. Now you have Elon Musk fucking retweeting retard every second. It's like it's yes, you can say the word. You don't need to fucking post memes about it constantly. Like, he is the weirdest. Like, if you could bottle, but if you could bottle cringe, it would be Elon Musk.
Sheldon.
He's the cringiest fucking human being alive. I don't think he's wrong in a lot of things, but I also think he is like the problem with him is like I think he has like one-track mind where he can't consider things outside of a vision.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
That's autism.
Yeah, but just like this is why autistics don't run the world.
Here's what is interesting. So they don't know what actual federal employees do. A lot of them.
Yeah, but that would be them sitting down with you.
When they're talking about, and I hear this all the time, it's the way they talk about federal employees. They just lump them all into one. Like they're all bureaucrats, and they all work for the IRS, and they all work.
Well, this is where they got.
They work for the Department of Human.
This is where they got Twitter. Like the one thing that was already.
Don't understand how it actually operates.
The one thing
I work for the Department of Defense. I take care of the soldiers that defend this country and their families to make sure that they are okay when their fucking spouse is overseas, possibly getting shot at from some fucking dumb shit who doesn't fucking understand that we're just trying to fucking help them. So this is if they really want to fucking get in the weeds, show up at the fucking IRS, sit down fucking next to them, and see what they fucking do on a daily basis.
This is where I
Or
like.
come sit next to me in my fucking office and take a phone call from a fucking soldier or from a family whose soldier just fucking committed suicide, and then tell me that my job isn't worth it.
See, I'm in the same boat as you. I mean, I don't do exactly the same thing, but there's a huge overlap, and it has to do with like fucking people dying and shit like that. We have a very good overlap, and it's like if you're gonna get rid of that job because there's pamphlets, you're a fucking idiot. But at the same time, like there has always been this thing that it's like.
Create those pamphlets. It's me.
But there
It's
no,
that
but
person.
there's also always been this thing that existed in today's society where, of course it's a government employee. They don't do anything. I would slap anybody like do my job. I would challenge anybody to do my job, and not just for one day. Do it for years and see how fucking soul destroying it is to
It
deal
is
with these
very
people.
soul-destroying.
So like
It is. You get a phone call. I'm looking for housing. Okay.
I got nowhere to live. I'm poor. I went to the shelter. The shelter's full. Where do I go? What do I do? I've got a young girl with me. My daughter.
And now, keep in mind, I say this all the time. We'll get a job.
I don't say that because I get fired for saying that.
Right. Well, I mean, I can say it off to the side, and you hear people.
I mean,
say,
mentally, yeah. If I could say what I thought,
that is a step. But what is that person going to do? Because you cannot get a job here in the United States without a physical address.
Yep. Hey, I'm a new immigrant. I got a family of 5. There's no room at the shelter. Where do I go?
Back home?
I can tell you one thing. You can't say that. I can tell you another thing. My job has not prepared me to give these people any help. But I am their point of contact at this point in time. What do you do? What do you do? Do that every night, 5 nights a week for a year. And where do you go? Like, this is the problem I have with, like, I see Elon Musk and he's got this point, right? But he's fucking prancing around on stage. Never fucking experienced this shit at all. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So this is the person that wants to cut fat. And yes, there's government waste. But the government waste kind of stops when you get past middle management.
Correct.
At that point, if you're cutting anybody else out, you are depriving a bunch of people of sources they need.
Correct.
So yeah, I mean they're trying to go all over the place.
Now, I am for them finding these ungodly payments that are, funding for things that we don't need.
I mean, it's gonna come off. It's gonna come off wrong to you, but they're asking you justify your job. Is what they're saying.
Well, I have to justify my job every fucking week with,
but not to this
What
entity, right?
Hey, listen, motherfucker, you're a supervisor. You know what I fucking do.
The thing I find really off-putting, if I was in your position, is that you're justifying your job to somebody that has no idea. No idea at all. Because it's going to like some level of organization that Elon Musk and them have created that have no idea about the job itself or even the atmosphere the job's in. So it's like, how do you like?
He also has to CC his manager in on that email as well. So,
which my supervisor's like, y'all don't worry about it.
I understand, but like, if somebody, some random person that has never worked in that industry or that job has to be like, yeah, he keeps it. It's like Gladiator, fucking thumbs up, thumbs down. It's like a
Basically.
weird, like there's a weird separation there where did you create like a department of people that can understand what job is worth keeping and what's not? Like, how do you even fucking regulate that?
But nothing's gonna happen out of this whole thing, because
Oh, good. I was worried about nothing.
well, I mean, it's still there, but my problem is they don't want me to waste my time, but I'm wasting my time by double dipping on something that I've already fucking done.
Yeah, but it's going to different entities. So like
No, it's
my
not.
job it is because they can't ask your boss to justify your job. They're asking you directly. And they're not going to like it's government,
So,
man. This is how my job is
email-
constantly.
This email, hold on, this email is not coming from him.
It's coming from the HR department.
I understand. This is what I'm saying. They can't ask your boss to justify your job. And you're justifying your boss to
understand that.
you're justifying your job to your
Which is
boss.
Which is why they're having a CCR supervisor.
Yes, but this is why you're doing it twice, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because one's going to your boss, one's going to HR.
But I've already done that. I did that on Friday.
To HR, to your boss.
My boss, who can fucking send it to HR.
No.
Yes,
on
he
first?
can.
What's on second?
Yes, he can.
Would you trust
In
your?
fact-
The thing is, would you trust? Would everybody trust their boss to tell HR how good you? No, I honestly, this is the way I. If it was me, this is the way I would do it. I would send it to each individual employee, not to their bosses, because some bosses might be like, "Yeah, he does a good job. He's good at. He plays Madden while he works." And then what?
Yeah.
I trust him.
But not everybody does. This is why I'm saying it's going to go to the individual. You got to do it at the individual level. Even though I think it's like this is like
Do it, which is I did though.
yeah, I know, but this is like such a quick fucking. This is the fastest the government ever moved. It's
shit.
wild.
That is kinda crazy.
I wish they did it here because my God,
Just become the 51st state.
the amount of waste going on here.
I can imagine.
I believe it. Again, I am not against them finding fraud, waste, and abuse, but you're asking me to take 5 minutes out of my time that's something that I've already done. That is fraud,
Forget
waste.
about already doing it, but like I think a lot of people kind of get rubbed the wrong way when somebody's like, "So what do you really do around here?" It's like an office space when the fucking Bobs come in. And they're like, "So what do you really do around here?"
I'll give you an example of something like that happened to me. So you guys know what I do for work, and one of my things is
Porn.
I offer. Yep, I send out offers for what I rent out to the low income, and I kept getting a lot of rejections and a lot of not people just responding. And my supervisors are like, "I'm just a little surprised we haven't gotten responses. Are you guys sure you guys are sending out offers in timely manner?" I'm like, "Oh mother!" And I literally like slammed down in front of my boss. I'm like, "Here's my spreadsheet. Here's all my notes of who didn't reply and all that." And I literally was able to categorize everything with all my notes. But I just oh my god,
I have a report
it
that
lit
I
a
do that with.
fire
I
under my ass.
actually created that report.
This is like what my mind goes to when we're talking about this is fucking Schindler's List. When there's a guy that like builds some machine parts, and they come to investigate. It's like, well, why didn't you build all these hinges? It's like, well, the machine was down. And it's like, well, we took him outside and tried to shoot him. They tried to shoot him like fucking 12 times and it didn't work. But this is like, it's the relevance is there where I'm like, you don't know the scope of what's happening. You're not in the job environment. So how can you pass judgment? They want to do all these things that are so drastic, but like, it doesn't need to be done in 10 seconds. And if it's done in 10 seconds, it's done wrong. I can tell you that right now.
Yep.
So though we were all in favor of Donald Trump becoming president and Elon Musk to an extent becoming fucking whatever he is, I if I don't like something, I'll say it. You know, and I think that this is like they're going too fast with this.
Agree.
Going too fast with it. And it's just because like it's clickbait world, you know. Oh my God, they saved
No
one bajillion.
shit.
They saved $1 bajillion, and then all of a sudden you see Donald Trump being like, we'll give 20% back to the American people, 20% back to the debt. What happens to the rest of the fucking money?
The 80% that goes towards the debt.
60%. He said 20% to the debt, 20% to the people.
No, it's the other way around.
We're gonna give ourselves a nice tip.
20% back to the people, 80% to the debt.
All right, whatever I watched was 20% to the people, 20% to the debt.
Well, then where does the other?
That's what I said. That's what I said
right.
when I watched it.
Break out your chalkboards. We'll have to figure this out next time.
No, Elon Musk was at CPAC saying 80% to the debt, 20% to the people.
I mean, I can tell you right now, if they ended up cutting a bunch of like government funding, as long as they cut the right things, they're not going to. They're going to overcut, and then those things will have to come back. But if you infuse the American populace with $6,000 to $8,000 per person, my God, will that fix so many problems in everybody's lives?
Agreed.
Like you get you give a family an infusion, like you guys, you get fucking $16,000.
I could pretty much almost knock down. The car. I would knock. If they gave me $6,000 to $8,000 right now.
Well, you get it as each individual.
I would say I'm gonna give you $8,000 right now. Can we redo my payments?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the help it would do to the American people, I think, is that alone would solidify him as one of the best presidents. Even if like he fucked everything else up, giving that amount of money back to people that were robbed basically for years.
Can afford both rent and food again.
Yeah, the that amount of money for anybody that's like not
If that's
a
true,
degenerate
it holds up.
Well, I think what you're gonna, if it does, even if they already talked about it, right? So even if it does happen, if the best case scenario is 8,000, you go 4,000 is probably more likely per person if they even, and then they'll tax you the next year because it's income.
Bastards.
Well, actually, no. They are probably going to end up making it non-taxable.
Oh yeah, with him talking about income tax and everything. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things that he's proposing, but I really the worry lies with like these cuts, USAID, all these other things that they're dealing with like outside of the country. Fuck it, don't care. But like when people lose their jobs, where their jobs are kind of required. Like I mean, I saw this thing on Twitter where it was a nurse and they were building a program for some issue with being pregnant, and it was like, well, we're all gone. It's like, yeah, I don't know the actual intricacies of it. Maybe it wasn't worth the time, but I do feel like if your job, you're able to do. If most of your job is not doing your job, then you might be at risk.
Agreed. But I
Yep.
think it's gonna do it for me this evening. Anyway, it is.
Yeah, I'm good. I just wanted to get that out there. I had to. I was a little tense about it, but I'm okay because I can justify.
Anyhow.
I mean, I don't think you have to worry, JP. Even if the worst case scenario, you have enough.
So the worst case scenario is they fire me. They either have to help me find another job, or they just give me a severance package.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
you'll be taken care
take
of
the
one way or
severance
another.
package, and then be like, "Well, I'm also military. Can I get a job?" Yes. I don't think you'll be hard pressed to get a job. To be honest,
That's the thing. A lot of they're going after the wrong things.
Yeah.
Because they're lumping all federal employees into one.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
The military employees should not be included in this.
Well,
honestly, for most
well,
jobs.
Fine. I'm in the field helping people.
Right.
So my job can't go away because if it does, then that's where the problem starts.
This is why I think like they will overdo what they should, and it'll result in a lot of like mental crisis for people and other things. Where it's like, well, I used to get this, now I don't get anything. I guess I'm living on the streets. But whatever.
It'll end up being a fiasco like Obamacare was, where all of a sudden people couldn't get their medications because it was no longer covered by insurance.
The worst, the one thing I'll say with like they're talking about giving $8,000 or whatever. Government really isn't in the business of giving too much money away to anybody. They'll give you certain things, but I can't imagine the government giving $8,000 to every American. That's just never going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, hey, fingers crossed, but I share the skepticism. But anyways,
Chilling with Chase said my job. Oh, sorry, Connor. I don't want to get this in before we go. My job laid me off because of budget cuts. Job market is horrible. Chilling with Chase, I can say yes. Even here in Canada, if you have a job, keep it because it's tough.
keep it good. But I'm gonna be popping off. I'm not sure if you guys are staying on as well.
No, we're good. We're good.
We'll be back most likely on Wednesday with HGD&D, unless something else comes up in the meantime. Again, schedule is going to be fluxing a little bit, so just bear with us as we kind of figure things out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, thanks to all y'all for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace out, bitches.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Why did I do that?